Hey, Nathan.
Hey, what's up, Ian?
What if we could be together Airbnb?
Just
remove
together
the air.
Together B&B. We could start it together. Would you like to start a bed and breakfast with me together?
I don't think so, because I actually hate you, and I don't feel like giving you any bear wood carvings or elephant carvings.
Alright, let me see if I can't... okay, I'm just gonna get your reaction, but I can't see the thing.
Is this about making my waifu fall in love with me at a B&B? Oh no, it's even worse. It's a creepy dating sim?
So,
hey ladies, come on over.
Together B&B is an early access game that is very recently released. That for whatever reason is insane, and the trailer's fucking insane. Have you gotten to the other parts?
I'm driving right now. There's guns? I'm gonna go hunting? What? I must... This game is made in China, isn't it? Why am I destroying the kitchen? Oh, I like this bitch. She bad. I'm gonna murder one of these women at some point, right? Like, I feel like that's happening.
I don't know. This is such an insane fucking trailer for a video game.
Who the hell are you? If you don't have a license, leave now. You found good coffee? Yeah, you can have it after I fuck you. Why just put, if you're gonna put a fucking shitty iPhone X, just have the text be inside the iPhone. Oh no, I found the white girl and she's getting drunk.
Like, weirdly, the graphics
I have been
are
staring
good.
at your boobs. I am a pervert. They out there.
Like, I know it's Unreal Engine 4 and it's probably just using basic Unreal Engine 4, but it still looks nice.
The full court basketball shot that doesn't even go half court is hilarious.
That's great.
Why am I just so rich? Now I'm just carrying around this boobed woman.
Large boobed woman.
Yeah. I think I got her drunk, and I'm gonna take her back to my room now and do some horrible things to her. Like, draw penises on her face.
Nice.
You're driving in the wrong lane. Kill the wolf! It's actually just a guy. You kill it, and a dude spawns. He goes like, hey, have you seen my dog? What happened?
Dude,
Alpha,
I saw this
no!
trailer. God damn it. I saw this trailer on fucking Reddit or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is the fucking craziest shit.
I have no idea what's going on right now in this game.
Like, it's like weirdly, it's early access, it's like weirdly Chinese, but clearly takes place in like America or Europe. Does not look like not anywhere else but those places.
You can also tell that the English is not their first language with the way they like,
sure.
Hi, did you get it? Not like, hi, did you get it?
The worst voice acting in the world. And by the way, this game is out on Steam early access right now.
Oh
it's
my
been
God.
out for a full week. And like, honestly, again, like I watched the trailer and the two things that I felt about the game were just like, A, this is the dumbest shit in the world, and B, like, I kind of want to get it. I kind of want to play it.
I just feel like it's one of those games, like it's a goat simulator with a little more like je ne sais quoi.
No, because Goat Simulator's on purpose. This is clearly a labor of love. Like, it's you shoot the wolves in this game because he's like, this is a good shooter. Like,
didn't look very good.
No,
fucking.
Well, it's early access, but the graphics are nice. I know, again, Unreal 4 graphics are nice. Like, he paid good money to make this game to use Unreal 4.
We're gonna like Google this dev, and apparently Together VR. This is not the first Together game.
What?
Nathan, there's another one, and it's just as insane.
Okay.
Like, it's cutting between like hanging out with this Asian girl in your like an apartment, and then going to like shoot the reactor with your dual wielding pistols.
That's wild. Holy shit. Yeah, 2018.
So Together B&B is a sequel.
It's a sequel. Holy shiz.
Yeah. Yeah. This is some guy the top of the most helpful review, the number one, just says, "Don't get this if you're expected to be like Konojo. This is rated PG at best, and nothing happens in that sense." This is like
so the review is, sorry, this isn't actual pornography.
It's sorry, this isn't actual pornography, and also it's just like listening to a girl talk for a long time.
Oh, so it's like actually having a girlfriend.
Yeah, except, without the love and attention.
Oh, I've never had that from a girlfriend.
Same. Yeah, well, that was a wild ride you just took me on.
Almost as wild a ride as this episode 78 of the Media Hole Podcast. This is a weekly podcast in which me, Nathan, and my co-host Ian talk about the latest news about entertainment, including film, television, anime, video games, and the works. And we also do like little review sections and talk about stuff. This episode will also be the final spoiler cast for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It'll be at the end. We'll tell you ahead of time. Don't worry if you haven't seen the final episode yet. We'll tell you before we start spoiling it. But also, I'm surprised this is coming out on Monday. I'm surprised you didn't watch it over the weekend. That's like uncommon.
Yeah. Honestly, you would have been spoiled by now, like with everything and like how nothing happens. So actually, I'm just looking at Steam right now, and on the front page there was an ad for Nier Replicant.
Yeah.
It doesn't have overwhelmingly positive like Automata does.
That's weird.
And it's only because the port is bad, as usual.
Just like Automata.
This is apparently it's worse because this is a classic game fuck up where the game speed is tied to your FPS.
Oh, love that.
So if you're running the game and
I'm just glad
hit 90 frames per second, the game goes 2 times speed. And if you run it at 144 FPS, the game goes 4 times speed. And it doesn't cap. There's no options in the game to cap, like in like the options itself. Nothing to cap it at a specific frame rate. So the game's just a fucking speed demon.
Well, I'm just glad that the spirit of Kavia lives on, even though the company is gone.
Also, De Novo's in the on it.
No, that's okay. That sucks. I'm fine with the frame rate thing because, like, you know what? It's funny, and also like, if Drakengard 3 was 12 FPS on PS3 when it came out, you can deal with weird 90 FPS bullshit on PC.
There's a guy at the very top who, like, the top recommended review just says, like, fucking go into the NVIDIA control panel, like, outside of the game, and you can lock it at 60 FPS there. And the game runs perfectly.
Nice. Okay, so thankfully it's not like...
Also, this guy claims that the game is the censored American version.
No, it's not.
I don't think it is. Yeah, I think he hasn't been far enough to... He's only has 2.8 hours on record. There's nothing happens in the first 2.8 hours.
Yeah, the thing
you get to play the prologue, and then you get to fucking go kill some sheep.
Yeah. So there are 2 things that I'm not going to say exactly what they are that were changed for the American audience, and one of them has been changed to be closer to the Japanese. It's like to decensor it. The other one I'm not so sure about. I haven't seen any screenshots of that scene, but I think there are more references to that element. So
is it the fact that Emil's gay?
Well, that's one of them. Yeah.
I saw that is in the game because there's a part where you where like Emil's just like hanging out in, I guess, your house.
No, it's not.
It looked like your house or like a base of operations, and like main character whatever you name him. I can't remember what his real name's supposed to be.
Near.
All right, so Nier says to him, and he's just like, "Hey man, you'll find a wife out there someday." And he goes like, "Haha, no, not really. That's not it, Chief."
Yeah. So like a translation of the way he says it in Japanese is like kind of like, "I want to be your wife" or something like that. But yeah, at the very least, the spirit of the line is there, that he is gay.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. And the other thing is about a different character, but you haven't met them yet.
Which one? Not Kaine, right?
Okay, yeah, it's about Kaine.
I've met her. I love her.
She's so good.
I really just enjoy it. Fucking spoilers for the first 4 hours of Nier Replicant, a fucking probably 30-hour game.
Roughly.
When you meet Kaine, she just tells you to go fuck off a bunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm at the for you because you've played.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the I just finished the Baron Temple.
Oh, okay. So you fought the two guys. You got Vice.
No, I'm past that. That's the shrine. The Baron Temple is where you save that kid.
Oh,
the desert area.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
that place sucks.
Yeah. So you did the facade stuff. Okay. So this.
Yeah,
the
that's
scene
what they call it. Yeah.
The scene's in facade. Yeah.
Yeah.
With all the rules.
That's a dumb one.
I like it.
I just like
funny.
the thing where she's like, rule 104, and then Weiss is just like, how many rules is there here? And she's like, well, we just passed rule 124,000 the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyways, we'll talk about that game more next week when Nathan actually has it.
Yep, because I foolishly ordered the collector's edition from America.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I'm surprised they don't offer collector's editions with download codes anymore. Or at all.
I don't know. I think sometimes they do, but...
Because then it could be like, let me get the collector's edition shit. You just give me an email that tells me the code.
Yeah. God, that game's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On to the news.
On to the news, yeah.
Oh, did you say... Yeah, you did say, welcome to Medial Podcast.
Yeah. No, because last week we forgot, or was it the week before?
I don't know. I think it might have been last week because I think the opening bit was like 30 minutes long.
Something like that.
Yeah. But we have to do that now because there's no fucking games. No news.
Yeah. The first teaser for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings came out. It's Shang-Chi.
Shang.
It's Shang.
Why would you spell it like that then?
Because that's... So I don't know if you know this. That's an anglicization because China does not use those letters.
I don't think so. There's only one language, Nathan.
Anyway, it looks really cool. The movie looks really sick. It looks like a cool kung fu movie. It looks very different from other Marvel flicks. It's going to come out September 3rd, apparently. Only in theaters, apparently.
Yeah. Some fucking idiots on Cinema Blend claim that a bunch of people on the internet are saying that, can't remember the lead actor's main name right now, that he is not attractive enough to be a superhero. But we literally have Benedict Cumberbatch as a superhero.
Simu Liu?
Is that his name?
They don't... Yeah. He's Canadian. He's from Kim's Convenience.
Oh, is he? Good.
Yeah.
Simu Liu. Yeah, no.
No, he's hot as hell, dude.
He is. He absolutely is. He is on, like, go look at his Wikipedia page picture. He actually has a good one.
Yeah.
He Cinema Blend, I think it was, claimed
they
that
let
people
Chris
were saying
Pratt
that.
be in these movies.
I will not. Chris Pratt is a very basic white man, but he does have the attractive white man traits, especially when he lost all the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a bad person. He's he's an idiot. That's about it at this point. Where he's just like, oh, I don't think my church can be that. He's like pure white privilege is what he is. What happened?
Yeah. My computer came up going, whoa. And it's like, hey, you got an update for Windows. And I'm like, okay, shut the fuck up.
We got, like, they're not ugly men because I don't want to fucking face shame anybody, but Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner.
Paul Bettany.
The thing that's weird is, like, with Paul Bettany and Benedict Cumberbatch, like, people who look unique can be hot. in that
Oh
way,
no, I think
where
they're both
unique
very
looking.
attractive men. I think that Simu Liu is like a very like middle of the road attractive. Like he has the if you just gave him white man eyes, like literally if you changed his eyes, everyone would be like beefcake time.
Yeah. Like
He's like built like a Greek god. He's got a strong jawline, very symmetrical face, perfect hair, but his eyes are a little different. So people
Because
are saying
he's
he's
Asian.
not attractive enough. Yeah,
That-
it's like
yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're right. If he was white, nobody would be saying shit because again,
Fucking
he's hotter than Chris Pratt.
don't want to throw shade on my boy, but Anthony Mackie as well has like that very angular face. And it's like, shut up. They're all hot people. And
Yeah,
who are you? Who are
yeah.
you to complain looking over there in your fucking graphic tee, schlubby as fuck, wearing shorts?
It's a warm day out, you little
wearing-
bitch. You're also wearing a graphic tee and shorts. Nice.
Yeah, but I don't have to impress anyone. I'm locked inside because if I'm a threat to society right now.
Well, I'm a threat to society
that dick.
due to my beliefs and large penis.
Yeah. I got fuck the news real quick.
Okay.
I got goofed on yesterday in my Discord because I went and got swabbed for COVID. And has it ever happened to you?
I've been very lucky. I haven't. My mom's had to get tested
I've been very
a couple times.
lucky as well until recently. So they take the fucking thing. It's very long. I have a deviated septum as well. So I had to be like, it has to be this nostril or else it won't make it up. So they fucking pull it in. It feels like it's back, like it goes like to here.
Ugh.
But the place it feels like it's up here, like
in your eyeball.
Yeah. And like I'm saying that, and fucking both like the two people in the call are like, haha, pussy bitch. I've had it done, and I'm like, yeah, of course you have. You're in America, and one of you works for Amazon, so of course you're gonna have it done constantly.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's uncomfortable. It's not a thing that I want to be used to being done to me. And I'm literally hearing it from a guy who's like, I get it done every week. And I'm like, of course you don't have a fucking issue then.
Ugh.
Anyways, it's uncomfortable.
Nasty.
Don't get COVID.
Yeah.
Man, if I have it, I literally never go back to work. My place of work closes in
2 weeks.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And if I get COVID, I'm probably, if I have it, I'm like asymptomatic at this point. But like, still can't go back to work. And the place will just close because I have to be off for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But hey, I get that fucking
Take some vitamin C and D.
cock and dick.
No.
No, I know.
That was literal advice. I was like, hey, that's going to make it easier.
But like because I'll get an
legs
extra
are
week's
so
pay
white.
because they have to, because if you go on short-term disability before the place closes, they have to cover it.
Nice.
So there's people right now who are like actively going on short-term because if they do, then the like they're being like, oh, I'm so stressed out, I can't handle this. They can get paid for like a full year. Like post the place closing and not even have to touch unemployment or their severance.
That's dope.
Break the system, fellas. Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it from my personal news.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, here's an interesting one that might have slipped under the radar for you. Extremely OK Games, which is the new name for a game dev that used to be called Matt Makes Games, who did Towerfall and Celeste, announced that they're going to be making a new game, Earthblade, which is going to be a fantasy platformer exploration game. And then they announced that it's coming 20xdx, which means anytime in the next 80 years.
Yeah. There is literally nothing about this game. There is just a 1.5-minute teaser trailer.
Yeah. But hey,
That's
man, they
it.
made Towerfall and Celeste. Like they haven't fucked up yet.
Yeah. Well,
And they're
Towerfall
from
was a weird
Canada.
one. Towerfall was a weird one because like
That
you
game's
can
fun as
literally
hell.
only play that game with like friends, pretty much.
Well, that was in the era of like indie co-op games. Like that was
Yeah.
the time. Like
It was like Nidhogg came out, and then everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit!"
well, it was like this and Nidhogg, and then everybody wanted to be like this and Nidhogg.
Yeah, and Towerfall is really cool,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no online support.
Yeah, it's like couch co-op only.
Yeah, but I saw someone's take about it. I guess I saw it recently because people were talking about, like, why are they making this new game? Towerfall still isn't online. It's like, have you ever seen a fucking, like, indie dev game, like, thing work online? They can't afford to do all that, like, GGPO shit.
Listen, these Canadians got to be making their new shit, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking go
Hell
for
yeah.
it, kids.
Hell yeah. And
Is this person trans?
we meant who? What?
So, I'm just they got Matt Makes Games. It's formerly of but their name on Wikipedia now is Maddie, like Maddy Thorson.
Oh, maybe they were trans.
Yeah, it's
I didn't know.
possible. Because that's like, if it was TTY, I'd be like, oh yeah, Maddie. He just wants the more fun spin on his name.
Yeah,
but
but-
Maddie. And
Yeah.
also shut down a whole studio that the name was Matt Makes Games to go to a different name.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they came out as trans.
They are non-binary.
Oh, not binary. Okay.
Yeah. And that the character of Madeline in the game Celeste was shown to be transgender, which Thorson said at a later blog post reflected on their coming to terms with their gender identity.
Yeah, that's
So good for
rad.
good for Maddie Thorson.
good for them. I
I'll
want to see what
pog
their,
with whatever
their
you
new
got
game's
going
gonna
on.
be. Hell yeah. I like
Yeah.
fantasy. I like platforming. I like
I watched
exploration.
Anthony play like the hardest levels in Celeste for like 5 hours straight.
Celeste will straight
went through one
fuck
level.
ya. Yeah, dude. That game beat your ass.
Because what was it? They have an A side to every level, which is the main story. The B side, which is just
Yep.
a slightly harder version, and then the C side, which is the hardest version with no checkpoints.
Yeah.
And I watched him go through. It looked like one of those fucking Mario Maker levels where it's just like, hey, you got to do P jumps constantly the whole level, and it's like, wow, you guys like this?
Yeah. I mean, like, I really liked Celeste when I played through it. It
Yeah.
was really cool. Sony recently doubled back, nicely jumping away from this, of closing the PS3 and Vita stores after seeing specifically our podcast's criticism of them closing those stores.
As I just saw something really gross.
What was it?
It's 3 sticky notes on top of each other, and it says May 8th, Elon Musk, Miley Cyrus, location Saturday Night Live. And I can't believe I'm gonna watch that.
They got fucking Elon Musk is the actor guest.
He is the host.
That's so dumb. The guy can't
Elon
act.
Musk, a man who is currently destroying a town in Texas because he's claiming it was a little fucking place and nowhere around and whatever.
And having destroyed a town in Florida, having profited off of coups in South America. Fuck this guy. Like, Jesus Christ.
Fuck Elon. I'm gonna steal watch it though, so I don't get the numbers.
Yeah. I'm gonna call in a fake bomb.
I want to see it because I don't think it's gonna be funny at all.
I'm
I think
gonna
it's
call
gonna
in
be
a fake bomb threat to 30 Rock.
Don't
So,
do that at all. You will be.
That is a
fucking
joke.
killed.
In Minecraft, I'm gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking. It's gonna be like, Elon's just gonna kind of be there. He's not gonna do a voice. He's gonna break constantly whenever one of the actual actors like
He's gonna have
players says something
his
funny.
dumb accent that he has.
I'm not gonna be
talks
mean about
with.
his accent because
I
that's
will.
not something he can control.
I can make fun of it.
His weird muted accent.
Yeah. His weird,
He's like,
desperately
I can't
trying
let
to
this
get.
rub out.
Yeah, his weird. I'm desperately trying to get rid of my white South African accent, but I can't.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on PewDiePie's meme review with my good friend Justin Roiland and fucking laugh at a dead deer floating in a pool for some reason.
Ugh.
Yeah, he like lost it for that. Like he was literally like howling, and it's like it's just a dead deer. But sometimes you got to cyberbully corporations, which is why Sony brought back the stores.
Yeah, Sony brought back the stores. We managed to cyberbully them. So the PS3 store and the PS Vita store staying up, but they're getting rid of the PSP store, which I think is okay because you can already emulate the PSP, and everything on the PSP store is on the Vita. So
yeah. Also, I heard that something else about it is that they didn't actually shut down some of the stores.
It was just moved to a different HTML.
They broke like the API on their site, and all someone did was put a plug-in on Firefox, and it started working again.
Nice.
And whatever, just emulate fucking games that if you're not gonna sell them anyways, emulate them. Whatever.
Yeah, that's hard for Vita games and PS3 games because PS3 emulation is still really early.
But at least PS3 games, you can't there is some. Because of PlayStation Now, you can go forward and there's a way of playing them, but still, it's not an actual ownership.
I do always feel kind of sad because the PS3 emulation did exist somewhat. So the day Persona 5 came out, because it was one of the last games to come out on both. You could play it, you could emulate it immediately, which I'm okay, yeah, there's an argument for maybe emulator's not good. But
yeah, well, also same with the Wii U, where the Wii U emulator came out in the middle of the Wii U's life cycle, and people were using it. It's I get it that you don't like Nintendo because they you don't want to spend $400 on a console that you don't want. But,
I saw people modded the Wii U emulated version of Breath of the Wild.
It was hilarious.
Immediately when that game came out.
Goku with a Minecraft sword fighting a troll, but the troll's head is replaced by Thomas the Tank Engine. It's just a classic. They're it's all a good time, but it's still really kind of proves Nintendo right when they turn around and say, "See, this is what you fuckers do," and it's but if it's not at all the same with shit like Game Boy Advance and DS games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a 3D no one has ever figured out a good 3DS emulator. I know there's ones out there, but they're just not good enough.
Yeah. I think the PS3 one is further ahead than I think 3DS, but yeah. If there's a Vita one, that would be rad too.
There's a new one. I don't know, maybe I'll download it and check it out later. It's got a real name, unlike Desmume or Virtual Boy Advance. It's called Citra.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Which is a nicer name. It's kind of Dolphin's a good name. But Dolphin's also a callback to the fact that the GameCube was called the Dolphin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. The Revolution.
I'm looking at Citra here on their Wikipedia page, and it says the same team is also developing a Nintendo Switch emulator named Yuzu. The Switch is an active console.
Yes. It's nothing wrong. Okay, the 3DS, pretty much dead. Dead at this point. Put an emulator out. Totally fine. Nobody's going to be mad about that. That's totally reasonable. Save these games, especially with portable consoles. Shit gets lost easy, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. The Switch is a currently available console. What you are doing is giving an easier way to pirate games for that thing, which just opens up Nintendo to be see, all emulation is just trying to be piracy. And it's that's not what it is.
It's I get it that it's one of those things where it's can I do it? So I'm going to try to do it.
Yeah.
And also, this is infuriating.
What?
My sister and her husband just came over to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard them walk in. They know that I possibly have it. So why the fuck did they just come here?
I don't know. Maybe they want to get COVID.
No, they're fucking stupid is what it is. And if one of them touches my door, I'm going to be did you see the sign? It said quarantine zone. I'm breathing freely over here. My throat's starting to hurt again. Yeah, so anyways, emulation, very good. Emulation of a console that is currently out and is where an entire company needs most of their money, morally wrong.
Yeah, I am going to be more thumbs down. Like, I'm more thumbs down because it just proves the company's right rather than, like, it's necessarily that wrong. Because, again, you're learning
it's thumbs down because it's making it's making us look bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with making a Switch emulator in a vacuum. Because it's like, yeah, dude, like, figure that shit out. I think that's cool. Like, I don't know shit about coding. When the Switch dies,
or when, like, the Switch Pro, like, when the next Nintendo console comes out that's like, we can't play Switch games anymore and we're not manufacturing Switch games anymore, it's like, fucking go for it.
Hell yeah.
Whatever. Like, the day that the Switch is like, oh, the day a brand new Nintendo game gets announced and it's not going to be on both platforms, it's like, all right, launch the emulator, get it out there.
Although what I always thought was interesting as, like, the first commercial emulator was the one where during the PS1's life cycle, on Mac computers they shipped with the ability that if you popped PS1 games in, you could run them on a PS1 emulator.
But you still had to own...
You had to have the game,
yeah.
But then obviously people got around it and because you could...
Well, then you'd also just pull all the files off and then you just run it through a virtual drive. Yeah.
But yeah. And that was funny because that was not with Sony's permission. It was like somebody made an emulator and they were like, okay, well, this isn't a crime.
I was surprised Dolphin didn't just roll in the Wii U shit.
I don't know. Like, I'm surprised the fucking...
GameCube and Wii, and then you have to get a separate emulator for Wii U, despite the fact that it's like the same console.
I don't know if they're still like this, but I'm surprised that Dismumi doesn't play GBA games.
Yeah, but Virtual Boy Advance is already so good.
Is that what you use?
That's what I used when I used to play them. I still have it on my desktop. It's very... it runs everything very well.
Yeah. I don't really play a lot of my emulators. Maybe I should just delete a bunch of that shit.
They're just so small. Like, we were making a joke last night where someone was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to uninstall Among Us. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, if you literally are if you're that down bad for fucking space on your computer, like, you have another issue. Among Us is 300 megabytes. That's it. That's like saying, like, oh, I'm going to delete Terraria, a game that's 1 gigabyte. But, like, deleting Destiny 2, which is, like, 120.
That means something.
I'm looking at it respectfully.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't write this down because I don't play Destiny anymore, but they really just said fuck you to the entire community again.
I heard about this.
Yeah. They're making it so that they were going to be like, hey, we hear you guys. Every successful MMO and MMO-like has transmog. And we've had glamour pieces, but now we're just going to let you transmog entire sets. But you need to have the original piece of armor to transmog it. You need to, you can only transmog 10 pieces of armor max per season. So once every 10 for every 3 months. And you have to, like, grind through 5 different currencies to be able to make it.
That's dumb and bad.
Yeah.
Bungie, you don't even have fucking Activision as a... Or wait, was it EA? Whatever. Whichever one of the big two. Activision. You don't have them as an excuse anymore.
Yeah. It's just quite literally like, you already have Glimmer, a fucking, one that's almost useless other than grabbing bounties. You have legendary shards, which as time goes on is becoming more and more useless. Because when I stopped playing, I had 7,000 inside my fucking inventory, and you get like 4 for dismantling a single piece of like legendary gear. You don't get a lot, but I have that many because I don't need to use them. They've had tons of other currencies, but like none of them make any sense. Just make it one fucking currency.
Yeah, man, it's real dumb.
Yeah. I spent like 2 full years of grinding out like every battle pass that came out in Destiny, and then like they just hit me. Then they did the fucking like shit where they what was it?
Blew up Mercury?
The sunsetting stuff. Also blowing up Mercury and shit. I was just like, no. I'm not doing this anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the feature film Destiny adaptation that I think was announced ages ago.
It's probably fucking canceled at this point.
But Ian,
yeah,
now the lore isn't just on a website. Now there's an entire movie.
An entire movie?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
Destiny,
what it'll be.
The movie, 2014 to 2017. All Destiny 1 cutscenes, an hour long. It's Destiny 2, the movie, all cutscenes from IGN though, and it's 55 minutes. But that's just from the first. That's just from base Destiny game. So
base.
Where the other one was an hour of cutscenes through all of Destiny's like expansions and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know who is actively putting out updates and supporting their game?
Respawn Entertainment.
Respawn Entertainment.
Most ethical game dev.
The most ethical battle royale game to support right now. Apex Legends.
Boom, baby.
Within the same week, they dropped two trailers. An 8-minute trailer, which is like a full story, and it's not like a fucking like storyboarded thing. It's like properly animated, and it introduces the new character named Valkyrie, and she's like this daughter of a pilot because it's the same as the Titanfall universe.
Yeah,
where she takes her dad's mech out on like a joyride, and then she gets discovered, like, because she does that, her dad gets discovered by the fucking like whoever, the Titanfall people.
Yeah.
And he has to go back into like battle. He ends up dying, and then she holds a grudge over it. She goes to try and kill the guy who she blames for it. He says some flowery bullshit, and she goes like, he says some shit where he's like, if you kill me, your journey ends here and your life means nothing. But if you walk away, you get like to have like continue on your adventure or some shit. Not saying like if he dies, she dies. It's more like if he dies, her will to live goes or some shit. It's one of those anti-revenge things. And then they show off that she pulls off like the pieces of her dad's Titan that let it fly, and created like a jetpack for herself.
Oh.
So she's now a vertically mobile character, like fully vertically mobile in Destiny.
Ooh.
I'm fucking Apex Legends. And then a couple days later, they dropped a 3-minute trailer which shows off the next season, which is called Legacy. And oh boy, fuck Titanfall 2, we might never have to have that game again.
Why? Because
they're calling the new one, they're specifically saying it's an arena, and people are getting a lot of classic multiplayer vibes, like just TDM shit.
Okay,
so instead of having
you meant
to
the multiplayer, not like the fact that fucking it's such a great game. I'm like, no,
because Titanfall 2 still has the story mode and all that. But like I'm saying, you might be able to play a game that's very similar to Titanfall 2 with an active multiplayer like lobby that's not being like, let me drop and die within 5 seconds. Hopefully there's a gun where I land.
Obviously the difference would still be that like Titanfall 2 would still have the parkour and the Titans. But
there's like the less parkour stuff and all that. Like the only character who can really do it is Octane, which they showed off, but he is also straight up a pilot from
Titanfall.
Yeah. Well, he was like a pilot in training that blew his legs off. But that's what people are saying. I think it's going to be something where it's still a battle royale type mode, but you get dropped into like specific areas in the map.
Yeah.
And that you're going to have to fight. I feel like it's going to be like a giant gulag, where everything's going to be like a bunch of like close team on team fights, and then when you beat the team, a door opens and it's like go to the next area, and then you keep fighting teams until it's just like I think it's going to be a very like straight up shot
like a more
combat focused.
Yeah, like a tournament style mode almost.
Yeah, that's my prediction. Gavin just like yesterday was like, no, that's not what it's going to be. And I'm like, you don't fucking know what it is.
You don't know any better than...
I'm taking a guess. I'm saying a game mode I think would be fun. And you're like, no. It's like, all right, I'm sorry. We're not allowed to be see magic in the world anymore.
Well, that's rad.
The character looks cool.
One thing I think would be cool is if I was making if Nathan, was making Apex Legends, a game that, if you recall, the lore is that it's like a TV show that people watch where all these characters are contestants trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I would simply have a story mode told through Easter eggs.
There was actually a really fun one they just did with before they showed the trailer for the arena thing. They put out a thing called the invitation, and it's on the main menu. And when you click on it, it activates these nodes inside of both maps. So you can just go find 3 of them, and you scan them. And then when you go back, you can go to a special like you load into the firing range, but it's special this time.
Yeah.
And you go, there's like a beacon, you activate the beacon, a drop ship comes down, you get inside of it, and then it takes you on an elevator where you hear a bunch of fighting. It's all just like build up shit, and you come up and you just see like a giant holographic head, and it says, looks like we got a new contender or whatever. And if you bring a specific character named Horizon, the character recognizes you because it's in the lore that the character running the arena is the one who threw Horizon into a black hole.
Oh,
because Apex has like stupid fucking stories.
It does, yeah. But I mean, like,
yeah,
I would kind of have dived more in depth into that stuff. But yeah,
like I think what was it? There's a guy named Revenant, and another character named Loba fucking hates him because he killed her parents. And when they're working together, like on a squad, if like someone's playing Revenant and they drop a weapon and they like ping it and you go and pick it up, if you press F1, which is a weird button to press, you can say thanks, and Loba will just say, "I'm not saying shit to you, fucking asshole." Or she calls him a monster all the time, and then Revenant always replies, he's like, "I do not care. I am literally a killing machine."
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, Apex Legends, really cool dev. Eat
It's
your
a
heart
good
out,
game.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because remember, Blizzard is a massive development studio with multiple teams that keep getting absorbed and stealing like talent from other studios and like dissolving those studios. And Overwatch 2 is not coming out till 2022, and they're not even updating the game and they also like aren't putting out any cinematics. Like, there's nothing. But
nobody's gonna fucking pay full price for that. That's how long that shit's taking. That was announced like 2 years ago.
And Respawn Entertainment has 315 employees. It's a very big company at this point.
Yeah.
But that's pretty average sized for video game development.
For AAA development, yeah.
Yeah. So they consistently have Apex Legends updates. They're always making new characters. They're putting these cinematics out that I believe are made in-house. Yeah, it's on the engine, but they still look better than like most of the shit Overwatch does sometimes.
Well, they're not.
And they're actively
Overwatch
working on
is
Star
not
Wars
in-engine
games.
stuff. Yeah. And they put out the VR Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
which apparently wasn't that good, but still.
Yeah. But it's just a lot.
Yeah. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was buggy, but it was really good.
It was buggy, but we can literally point to EA for not putting it through like proper QA stuff.
Yeah, that's not really Respawn's fault necessarily.
Yeah, and also like even going back before Respawn, Jason West and Vince Zampella created Call of Duty. Like
yes. Yeah, literally.
Well, they were like lead developers on Medal of Honor at EA, and then they said, why don't we do a modern shooter that's not World War II? And they said, go fuck yourself. So they went to Activision and said, why don't we do a modern shooter that's not World War II? And they're like, we love it. And then when they came over, they were like, psych. You're going to do 3 World War II games.
Yep.
And then 4 came out, and they made Modern Warfare.
And they did Modern Warfare 2.
One of the best really redefined that entire genre. Like everyone started to rip off Call of Duty after that.
Absolutely. And then they did Modern Warfare 2, which was the highest selling game of all time. Then Activision said they wanted to cut the salaries of the people who worked on it, which is stupid because you've made the highest selling game of all time.
And they made the highest selling game of all time, but they didn't make a they didn't make enough money Like, oh no, they got like an 80 and they didn't get an 85.
No, that's New Vegas. That's Fallout New Vegas that happened to.
Are you sure? I think it happened
Yeah.
in Modern Warfare 2 as well, where they were like, you didn't hit the Metacritic score, so you're not getting your bonus, but it was like off by 1 point.
That was New Vegas. That happened to.
Fuck Obsidian.
No, this game Activision decided to fuck them. But so then they like a bunch of them left to make their new studio Respawn. And then they made Titanfall 1, which it was a rough game, but it was like, hey, what if Call of Duty was better? And robots.
Yeah.
And then they made Titanfall 2, which is arguably the best multiplayer shooter ever made. Then they made Apex and Jedi Fallen Order. And
better games.
They're gonna make a sequel to
Jedi Fallen Order, unfortunately, not Apex. I mean, not Titanfall.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see a Titanfall 3. It'll never fucking happen.
I don't think it'll ever happen. If anything, we could get like a story mode, but it will be based around more in the Apex timeline.
Yeah.
Because Apex is where they've put a lot more effort into this point, because like
it's just
a multiple planet
fucking
world.
Annoying because Respawn set their release date for Titanfall 2. They were like, we're going to put it out on this day. And then EA was like, okay, fine. Then they released fucking Battlefield 1 within a week.
Yeah.
These two things have the same fucking audience, and you know that. And that's because EA wanted to reduce the value of Respawn so they could purchase them, and then they did.
Yeah. And then now we're just sitting here waiting for them to put out new games.
Waiting for EA to just randomly close Respawn, and then we'll have to wait for those people to make another studio.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the week.
That's the news.
News? Lame. Who wants to talk about the news? No one.
Nobody. But we do have our weeks. In case you're not familiar, on this podcast, we talk about the things we've watched and or played and or experienced. In this section that we like to call the weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually what a week is.
Yep.
It's a period of 7 days where you do things.
Anyway, the biggest thing that I did this week sort of was I caught myself up a bit further in the Nightwing comic books that I have mentioned a little bit on this pod. I'm trying to get caught up to now on the Nightwing comics because I like the character and I like the idea of being caught up and getting a new issue of a comic book every couple weeks. So what's interesting with Nightwing, the comic book post Rebirth, is that like there are 5 volumes where it's written by Tim Seeley, who also wrote Grayson. Kind of continuing that and some of the stuff from like Robin War around that time into Nightwing. And so like, you know, he fights Raptor, he moves to Bloodhaven for the first time post New 52. He fights Blockbuster, you know, lots of good stuff. He fights the Parliament of Owls. He gets a girlfriend, then loses her eventually. You know, all the good stuff. And so for 5 volumes, which is like almost 2 years of issues, like it's Tim Seeley and it's really good. And then Tim Seeley either left the book or was fired, I'm not sure. Like because the story was kind of finished, the thing he was saying, so it could be one or the other. But then it randomly just keeps getting tossed in between people. So there's like an 8-issue story by Sam Humphries, which I thought was pretty good, and it was about a bad guy named the Judge, and I thought that storyline was pretty cool. It's like this guy kind of talks to people, and then they start killing people for, you know, he kind of has a mind control, but it's also maybe blackmail, but it's also maybe that he just like understands corruption under the heart of the city, and maybe he's just telling them normal shit, and it's just that good at convincing people of things. Who knows? And that was a cool storyline. There were some weird elements to it that I was like, okay, why is this guy necessarily the bad guy? Like, like I don't know, why doesn't Nightwing go, well, like, you know, if you're making a villain where it's like, okay, he does have a point, you gotta have the hero go like, well, he does have a point. You gotta have the hero understand that the guy has a point. Because, like, the Judge's whole thing is like, oh, Bloodhaven has become overrun by, like, casinos, and these casinos are all, like, dirty and bribing the mayor, and he's taking money away from the education. And it's like, okay, so these things are bad, so Nightwing should be like, hey, you shouldn't be doing murders and convincing people to kill other people and or themselves. But I agree with the fact that maybe we should all know that there is corruption, that that's something the public needs to know. But Nightwing never says that in the story, so I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, well, you know, comic book writers, they're like, we're not political, I swear.
Yeah. Again, part of why I didn't really like Sam Humphrey's other book, Blackbird, even though the art in that book is really good.
Why is it always gonna be Blackbird? Where's the
name?
Where's the white bird?
It's called a dove.
Damn. Yeah, but doves are stupid. Why didn't you say eagle?
Because eagles aren't white.
Because eagles just have a bit of white on their face. The rest of them is a very dark color.
That's only bald. That's only bald eagles.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
But yeah, and then after that, there was a run by Benjamin Percy, which was all about how phone bad, the dark web, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of dumb. It had parts that were good. I didn't like the implication of Nightwing being kind of a Luddite. I thought that was weird. It came out of nowhere. I don't buy that for Dick.
Hold up 1 second.
Luddite means somebody who doesn't trust technology.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Like imagine being like, yeah, man, I love Batman. New technology though, gross.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have a fucking
face.
social media presence, and I'm like, I don't buy that for Dick Grayson. He is like a healthy early 20s, early to mid 20s man.
I don't know. I could always see like because you know he's always wants to be like low key and shit because of his like spying stuff. I could see him following a bunch of people, like using Instagram and like social media as a tool, but also enjoying looking at thick biddies.
Like, I'm not saying he has to be like tragically online. I get that that's Batgirl's thing, but like,
yeah.
So he can be less than that. He doesn't care about his
follower count because he has like 10 and they're just people he knows.
Yeah, again, like he has to like technology enough for Batgirl to want to fuck him. Like,
actually, here, Batgirl would follow him, and then he would just gain followers because that's what people on Instagram do. Is be like, she's following this account that has like no one else following it.
I feel like Nightwing would post a lot of thirst traps. That's his bit. That's who he is as a man.
Yeah.
Like that's who, or at least Dick Grayson. I don't think he would do it as Nightwing, but he would do it as Dick Grayson. So yeah, I didn't really buy that.
Also, isn't his like bit when he's by himself, like is that he's just like, because he's Dick Grayson, he's son of Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. He would be like a fucking huge social media star, like because he's like the son of a billionaire.
He could be that guy. Like I don't know if he would necessarily. One of the things I like is like, so in Tim Seeley's run, his job he has like at a like doing social work, helping people, and then like his job after that for a bit is that he like has a gym and he runs it, and it's like he does personal training and stuff, and he's like he owns like a gym that you make appointments to go to, and then in the back of the gym or whatever he has this Nightwing cave. And I'm like, I buy that. That makes sense. He could CrossFit people. That works.
Yeah.
That's in character. I could see that happening. I think the social work thing is better. I'm glad they didn't do the thing that they did back in the 2000s Nightwing that they did on Titans, where he's a cop.
Ew.
Yeah. You're a cop during the day and you're a Nightwing at night. And I'm like, okay, first of all, being a police officer and a superhero, they work the same schedule.
Yeah.
It's very all over the place.
Yeah. And it's like, why won't Nightwing show up? Well, I don't know, but Officer Grayson is at work right now.
Why does Officer Grayson keep trading his night shifts?
Yeah, he always says he's busy, but also every time he trades a night shift, he's
a police officer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, superheroes just shouldn't be cops.
My favorite detail of Grayson, which I didn't mention when I was talking about that book, is that they keep giving him guns to do his spy shit. He always just throws the guns at people as a weapon. Which is so good. That's such like a funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I've been criticizing these two things, but I liked these volumes. Now I'm going to talk about the volume that they decided to stop numbering the book on, which is confusing, but also is dog shit, which is Night Terrors, which is the start of the storyline where, in case you didn't know, in a Batman comic, KG Beast shoots Nightwing in the head with a sniper rifle, and then Nightwing, is in a coma for some time, I think a week or so, and he wakes up with amnesia. So he didn't know he was Nightwing. And so, we cut to Night Terrors, the comic, where it's been a couple months since then, and he's got his shaved head and his leather jacket. Ooh. And he's drinking in bars. He's got a job as a cabbie. He doesn't know his he doesn't like hanging out with Bruce or Babs. He says they're not friends with him, they're friends with somebody else named Dick Grayson. But I'm Rick Grayson, spelled R-I-C.
Fucking idiot, can't even spell his name right.
So dumb. Yeah, and he's edgy and he drinks and he's like, I don't know if I want to be a superhero or whatever, but I have all this ability that I guess I just still have and can do all these flips and things.
I don't want to be a superhero. I'm going to go be a villain now.
No, it's not even that. He's just like a guy and then he gets roped into some shit. Trying to burn down that part of his life. And so a bunch of cops and a firefighter find his Nightwing cave and find all the suits and start wearing them, and now they're a team of Nightwings.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. You like that storyline? I was like, this is dumb and all these characters
I think it sounds dumb, but I think it sounds very fun.
That's cool, but the problem is edgy, I'm an alcoholic with a shaved head, Rick Grayson. And Barbara Gordon shows up to talk to me, and I don't know, and I don't like her. And I'm like, I'm mad at this.
Barbara Gordon's hot. How dare you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
He does take a bartender on a few dates.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I feel like the depressed job isn't becoming a cabbie because there's a lot more steps to becoming a cabbie than literally just pulling up.
Well, in the comic, he just pulls up, dude. He's just like, I'm going to be a cab driver.
I just feel like a bartender is a better option.
No, because to be a bartender, he was a bartender in the old Nightwing comics for a bit because he's personable and charming, and Rick Grayson has mood swings and is an asshole. Yeah,
so he goes and works at a biker dive bar.
Oh, I guess he could do that. That would be fine. But
he works at a piece of shit place that has 5 regulars who don't complain, and then when one guy's like, hey, there's not enough vodka in this, he just smashes the bottle over his head.
Yeah. But yeah, so I want to power through it just because I want to be because if I get caught up to now, I'll have read every Nightwing comic since 2011, including Grayson. So I just kind of want to have that for me. But yeah, that man, ugh. And it's Scott Lobdell, who I don't like, who's the writer. And it's a bad story, and it's boring, and I don't like the characterization. Also, like, at the end of the story, he, like, joins the team of police officers and one firefighter who are dressed up as Nightwing in the Nightwing costumes. And I'm like, are we not... So, okay. When you have somebody wearing a superhero costume with a gun strapped to their side, what are you saying? Maybe you are trying to make a point that is fucked up. Oh no, you're not saying anything by having that happen? You just thought it was cool? Okay, weirdo. Mm-hmm. And it's dumb, and nobody ever mentions... Okay, the fucking guy in the blue Nightwing outfit, the cop, has his badge, and he waves it.
So he's a
like,
bad
doesn't
cop.
that have your fucking name on it? Doesn't that reduce the point of wearing a mask?
Even if it doesn't have your name on it, it has a number, which then you take the number.
Yeah.
And it tells you who that is.
You're already a cop. What are you achieving by going around the law other than to be more violent than you're already allowed to be?
Oh.
It never makes that point. It's just like, no, he's a cop. And maybe they start making that point in the 2 other volumes before they give up on it and he goes back to being himself. But I haven't read that far yet.
Well, I did some reading this week.
Yeah,
in fact, a lot. I read all of Chainsaw Man.
Holy shit.
It's like 97 chapters, and it's only like 20 pages each one. So
is it over?
No. See, I thought it was.
Oh.
Because I remember hearing, like, people, I was like, the day it ended on... Because Chainsaw Man was one of those ones that, like, popped off, like, really fast, and everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like, chapter 97 of Chainsaw Man, and everyone was like, thanks. Thank you for being in my life. Appreciate it. And that's it.
Yeah.
But I read all of it, and at the final page, it just says Part 1, Public Safety Office over, or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
And it implies that Part 2 will be about him going to school. So anyway,
okay.
Chainsaw Man is fantastic. Like, it gets into it so quickly. Like, the first chapter, it's like, here's this kid. He owes a lot of money to the mob, like the Yakuza. Mm-hmm. And the way he makes money, because he's like 16, he has nothing to do, is he has a chainsaw devil. And he uses the chain, and it's like a little dog with a fucking chainsaw nose. And the way he uses it, and he calls it like Puchita. And he met it when he was like 8. So he like takes care of it, and they live together. And then to make money, he uses it to like, the chainsaw gets real big, and he carves up devils and then sells them to the Yakuza. And then the Yakuza pay him, but then he always ends up with like $10 afterwards. He's like, well, I guess we're eating only bread this week. And he like fantasizes about like having bread with jam on it. And then like there's a part in like the second chapter, I think, where he just gets like really depressed and he's like hunched over in the corner. He's just like, I want to feel a pair of tits. Because he's like because of the debt his father left him with, he's just fucked.
Oh.
So then the Yakuza like pull him in, and it turns out the Yakuza have all been eaten by another devil called the Zombie Devil, and it's just been puppeteering them around, and it wants to kill. It tries to kill him, and I think they kill his dog as well, and they throw him into they literally rip him apart, like arms cut off, legs apart, his head is chopped off. Or I don't think his head is chopped off because he's still alive at this point. They like rip his heart out as well. There's no way this kid should still be alive. And Puchita comes over and starts speaking to him and says, you took care of me my whole life, so now it's my turn to take care of you. And it goes inside of his chest and becomes his new heart, and that's how he becomes Chainsaw Man.
And then he's got like a big chainsaw for a head or something? I forget.
I'll fucking get a picture of him here. He has a big chainsaw on his head as well, but it's a lot smaller. But also his hands, like down the center, rip open and chainsaws pop out. Oh. Here, you can't really see it that well. It's like honestly hard to get figure out at some points. That's the volume 1 cover. So then he
it does come out of his arms. I always just thought
Yeah.
he was holding them when I like glanced at this from far away.
Yeah, so then he meets up with Makima, who is the she's like the division leader of Sector 4, because
I heard people were pissed off about something that happened to one of the female characters, I think.
lot of everyone, it's very bad. It's that part, I won't talk about it because I think when the anime comes out, you should check it out.
Yeah.
But like, I think it could be something with Makima, because there's a reveal about her later on. There's something, it might be Himeno, who's a character who literally disintegrates for reasons, and it's very sad and heartbreaking why she does it. But like, the show is so bloody and also so cool. It's not the series. It's not a show yet.
Yeah.
The show starts in summer. Or actually, I think it's 2022. But so the whole premise is that a lot of them want to go and kill this other devil called the Gun Devil, who is actually, no one knows where they are, because the Gun Devil appeared once in like 2009, and within the 2 minutes that it was around, killed like 30 million people in one shot. And the whole premise of the show is them trying to get the Gun Devil, and then later on the Gun Devil comes back again, and this part like blew me away, is it was like 7 pages of just death and destruction, but like, I sent you a picture there. It's just names of people
who died.
Yeah, of the people who were shot. That's it.
That's fucking wild.
It's so cool. It's sick. But then,
dude, that's like not quite, but like that's almost Akira. The manga.
Yeah. But the fucking wildest part of the manga is, so Chainsaw Man is actually, so there's actually they're called devils because hell exists.
Yeah.
And inside of hell, it's pretty much, you're a devil in hell, and then when you die in hell, you get reincarnated as a devil on the human world. And you're constantly in the cycle of death and rebirth. But there's a part where a guy says the final thing you hear when you die in hell, it sounds like a chainsaw revving. Because Chainsaw Man is the hero of hell. But the wild thing is, this was just thrown at me so suddenly. Makima is just talking to like this old man, and she's like, "Hey, do you know what a Nazi is?" And he's just like, "I've never heard that term in my life." And she's like, "Exactly, because Chainsaw Man ate the Nazi devil."
What the fuck?
So
that's so stupid and bad.
It's fucking
like,
hilarious.
Maybe but, like irresponsible to write it down.
There's a bunch of other ones like that. I think the bomb devil exists, but I think the nuke devil does not anymore because Chainsaw Man ate it. So what Chainsaw Man does is he participates in this cycle of death and rebirth, but if he thinks it's so bad while he's in hell, he'll eat it. And if he eats them, the concept of that fear stops existing in the real world.
Wait, so the concept of that thing or that fear?
The thing and the fear. So the reason why the Gun Devil is so powerful is because everyone fears guns.
Yeah.
So Nazis were incredibly powerful at one point because everyone feared Nazis. And the more fear you have over that is over that like concept or specific thing, the more powerful it is. So at one point, the fear of darkness shows up and almost kills everyone within 2 seconds because everyone's afraid of the dark. And it's not something anyone really embraces. It's always a fear.
I'm not really scared of guns. I just don't like them.
Yeah, but like if someone was to point a gun in your face right now, you'd probably be pretty afraid.
Yeah.
But you could do the NRA thing of like, I'm not afraid of the gun, I'm afraid of the man holding the gun, but it's like the gun is still part of it. So
absolutely how I feel about
it. I really hope in part 2 there is an America devil, because we know that a large portion of the world fears America.
Or the imperialism devil.
Yeah, that too. So like I thought like maybe they can't do that because they can't do concepts, but then they showed the fucking. Then there's another devil who shows up, and I'm like, that's very much a concept,
Yeah,
not
well,
a specific thing.
a Nazi
Gunn,
devil is also a representative of a government. So
yeah, there's a bunch of other ones. I think the bomb devil is probably my favorite one, also because she's really cute. Like
That's
she
weird.
shows up as this girl who's there to like. She just shows up as a girl and like she's trying to like convince Denji, who's the Chainsaw Man, to like run away with her to Russia. And then she like just turns it. She like pulls a thing on her neck, and her head explodes. Yeah, her head explodes, and it gets replaced by like what looks like a nuke.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's so cool, but I'm starting to see a real trend. There's something wrong with mangaka in Japan right now.
Yeah.
There's so many things where it's just like, hey, what if 80% of Japan just got annihilated right now? Wouldn't that be sick? Like Jujutsu Kaisen, fucking a huge part of Demon Slayer, now Chainsaw Man. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones I'm not reading.
I mean, Japan Sinks 2020 is an anime, but
yeah,
it's
it's
based on
just,
a novel, I think.
They're pretty much just being like, if you aren't one of these special, if you're not a special little snowflake, your life is worthless to us. Fucking Promare.
The end of Weathering with You, arguably.
That's
although
more just like
in a
fuck
slow way.
Japan as a society. Yeah, I guess in a slow. You can just leave. The problem with Weathering with You is that Tokyo is apparently under the sea level, and that they have to kill this girl every fucking 50 years, or else it'll keep the water comes back. And the water came back. It's not all of Japan that's fucked. It's just Tokyo Bay.
Well, yeah, you're right. You could just leave Tokyo. It is the largest metropolitan. Well, yeah, if they didn't want their houses to sink, they could just sell their houses.
Yeah, thanks, Ben Shapiro.
I
Go buy another
like my
log
brain.
of wood from Home Depot, you fucking loser.
It wasn't a log; it was a large plank.
It was a pressure treated like 2x8 or something.
Yeah, well, actually, let's get the picture. Hold on.
Yeah, so anyways, Chainsaw Man, I honestly highly recommend it. I think it's better than Jujutsu Kaisen because like the first part of the story feels like the end. Like if they said there's no more Chainsaw Man ever happening, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. I got no issue with that. I think it's a perfect, like, concise story. I don't think it leaves anything out. It's kind of it. I'm kind of afraid of what they're going to do next because they could just undo, like, character deaths and shit. Like, here's this character back. Why? Because people like them.
Yeah, I hate when shit does that. Like, yeah. I get that
There's one character, actually, who does die that I would like to come back.
So
because I think the way they died was fucking horrible, and I was like, oh no.
So I've actually learned a piece of information about this photo of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
That's not a 2x8. That's not a 2x10. It's actually a 2x4. He's just that small.
Oh yeah, did you see that fucking Hassan joke?
Oh, because dude, it's not an original joke. I came up with it. It's just a short joke.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I pulled that out my brain. Like,
have you ever seen the thing with like Hassan where like Ben Shapiro's holding like this giant gavel? It looks like some anime bullshit where they'd be like, yeah. I'm the judge and I am fucking judging you, and they'd like smash a person apart, and then Hassan's like, no, it's fucking crazy, man. And he just,
I have it right here,
and it's like this big.
Yeah.
It's the same gavel.
It's like an identical looking piece, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Listen, we shouldn't make fun of people for being short, but if somebody's a terrible person and we know he doesn't like the fact that when people call him short, then I will make fun of him for that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being short. It's just don't be short and a Nazi.
You can't wear the crown if you're constantly going like, I'm not short. Okay?
Well, you see, you're actually not supposed to get her wet. Women are not supposed to enjoy sex at all, in fact, and they never do. And that's normal. And if they're not, that's wrong. And medically, you should see a doctor.
So I just wanted to there's a part The character I want, I'm not gonna say any names here, and for Chainsaw Man, it just tore me apart with how quickly they did it. They open up a door, the character's behind there, and then the person in question just does a hand gesture, and their entire body, except for their head and down to their knees, disintegrates into a bloody mist against the wall. And I'm like, you really did that fucking quickly. I was so upset. And it's like a minor character, but still is pretty important. And I was it sucked.
It's like how that's like how Alfred dies in Batman.
Yeah,
the comic. He
it's
just
like
gets shot.
It was like very much for shock value, and that's what bothered me about it. Like the character could have lived.
I did like that they like. I don't know. I thought it was kind of like realistic the way they had Alfred die, where like in the moment it was really fucking messed up. Like it was just like bam, he's dead, and then like obviously in the issues since you got like little written letters from him and like narration about it. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense because that's kind of more like how it would be if somebody got murdered.
Yeah,
man. Well, I've heard Chainsaw Man's good. I still want to watch. Why the fuck is the only. The World Ends With You. Okay, thank God.
Oh,
I was only getting the Japanese name of it. I was like, wonderful, what a wonderful world. And I'm like, it's not the fucking English name of that game.
It's also not like the name you would remember.
Yeah, it's not. The World Ends With You. I really want to watch that show. It looks really cool. And I like the game a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Hashtag Nomura #1.
You don't have to break your fucking wrist playing the game anymore.
That's how you play it on Switch, baby.
Whatever. Did you do anything else this week?
I literally fucking didn't. Like,
wow.
Dude, yeah.
Right.
I beat Uncharted 1 while listening to podcasts because I needed a game to help me pass time.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Well, I've started watching Lupin the Third Part 4.
Hell yeah, dude. That
Here's
great.
the fun thing about Lupin. You don't have to watch Part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Unlike JoJo, where people say that and you actually kind of have to really understand the full story. But
yeah, I mean, some of the best stuff is in those, but you know, it's like a mixed mash. There's not really like long storylines. Although I believe Lupin the Third Part 4 has a bit that's like a Cagliostro. Maybe it's just one episode.
There's a part where he's on a date with Fujiko and she says like he calls her something like, I don't know. He calls her like a woman who is famously known for being beautiful. Mm-hmm. And then she says, "You're my Count Cagliostro."
Oh.
Because like in Lupin the Third Part 4, they are not together, but he's like says that she's my one true love. Like there's no other woman for me. Well, every woman is for me, except he would never settle down with anyone but Fujiko.
Yeah.
And Fujiko's like, I don't fucking play around with that shit.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. What I really liked in the movie Castle Cagliostro is that Miyazaki wrote saying that like Fujiko is basically his ex-wife. Like
they're like ex-lover. They never got married. Yeah. But there's the first episode of Lupin the Third Part 4 is him getting married to a new character who becomes a new side character, Rebecca Rossellini.
Yeah.
Who is like standard fucking hey, I'm a rich girl, but I actually like to steal because I love the thrill of it.
Oh, she's Selena Kyle.
Yeah. And she's
sometimes
she's like more capable, honestly, than fucking like Fujiko. Like
really?
When it comes to doing spy stuff, Fujiko likes to do her
have sex with people thing.
Like her thing where she's like, "Hey, you know what? Come here. I'm going to go mime like I'm going to blow you in the corner and then I'm going to knock you out." Like she uses her sexuality a lot more to get like stuff done. Where Rebecca is just like, I'm going to put on this fucking cat suit and I'm going to go do some fucking like backflips through lasers and shit. And like use tools. There's like an episode where they're trying to steal like an original like barrel of this wine.
Yeah.
And Fujiko does exactly that, where she fucks around with a security guard and like knocks him out and steals his key card. But then like she looks up and Rebecca is just like diving through all this bullshit and like hanging from the ceiling, and she's just like, "You're as hot as I am. Like this could do like go a lot faster. You know that, right?"
Yeah.
But it's and then like the mid-season finale reveals why Rebecca's like that, like how she is.
Damn.
But she's a really interesting character. But like it's getting crazy. Like it turns out that Leonardo da Vinci's still alive.
Dude, Lupin does so much of that shit.
Yeah. But I think one of the best parts about they call it the Blue Jacket series because it's like he wears a blue jacket the whole time.
Yeah, well, he wears a red jacket in part 3.
Yeah, so he wore green for like... Actually, I think he wore blue in part 1 as well.
I thought it was green part 1 and part 2.
And whatever, those parts suck.
The only parts I've seen parts from I've seen a bunch of... I watched like half of part 1.
The modern Lupin designs and stuff is that it still looks like classic Lupin shit. Like, some characters have like Rebecca, who's a brand new character, is a little bit more over designed. Yeah. And has a lot more going on, but she doesn't have like the same anime face as like everyone else. Mm-hmm. And then like Fujiko still got her dumb huge hair. They fixed her. They fixed her from looking like shit in The Woman Called Fujiko Mine.
I like how she looks in The Woman Called Fujiko Mine.
It looks fine, but like, I never watched it, but IGN
like that
used to have like, I think they still have it, but the original cast of like the IGN Anime Club podcast, they were talking about it, and they were just like, yeah, I don't like how Fujiko is in this one. She always feels like it. It was 3 women on the podcast, by the way. She always feels like she has to be like
horny.
Yeah, she was like a lot hornier about everything.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe of that show. It's written by one woman and directed by another woman.
Yeah, so like, but it's like,
the vibe is just horny. But I like it. I think
Zenigata,
it's a cool show.
though, is awesome. Like, he's so funny.
He's so good.
There's a part in part 4.
He might be my favorite one of the characters.
He's a very torn man, because there's a part in part 4 where he captures Lupin for real. And like then it's a montage of Lupin breaking out of crazier and crazier like prison cells. Eventually, where they just put him on an island in like there's a meter of steel between him and the outside world, and the only person who can open it is Zenigata, who is just permanently camped outside of his cell. And he just like opens up the slot one time and he goes like, "What's that smell?" And Lupin looks like all like fucking skinny. He's got like this huge beard, and like his eyes are all super sunken in now, like, oh, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
And then he like looks over to the right, and there's rotting food everywhere, and it's because Lupin says, "I'm not gonna live a meaningless life, so I'm just gonna sit here and starve myself until I die." And Zenigata like says, "Don't do that. That's fucking stupid." And they just go through like trying to figure it out. Actually, one second.
I like Zenigata because I like a good dipshit character as well, and he's that a lot.
Thank you, Maggie. Wait, where's my Ruffles? What? Ruffles all dressed. I fucking did. Alright, thanks. I might just use, like, skip the dishes and fucking ask him to go to 7-Eleven for me, but thanks.
Where's my fucking Ruffles?
I can't leave the house. You can leave that in. It's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
I want a bubbly. Yeah, so he ends up tricking him, though, because Lupin is like a crazy good artist.
Yeah.
He takes like the scraps of food and draws like what looks like a corpse on the ground. Like his own corpse. So then Zenigata goes like to retrieve him, and then as he gets close, like it's one of those like perspective paintings. So as he gets close, like Lupin just gets really wide, and then like his feet are disconnected, and so is his head from like the body, and then Lupin just appears behind him. outside of the cell, and then like a fucking asshole. They were just having the most beautiful, like, lovely conversations while he was in prison about like Zenigata just like questioning his whole life, being like, my whole life led up to capturing you, and now that I have you, I don't have like much of a will to live after this. Like, there's no point of me continuing to be a police officer if I don't have you, because Zenigata looks like a bumbling idiot, but he is the best detective in the world.
Yeah.
Like, he literally shows up to places and he says, I'm here only to capture Lupin the Third, and everyone has to be like, all right, I respect that. And he constantly is like almost on the verge of catching him, where all the other cops are like, whatever.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah,
like,
so
it's just obviously
so crazy.
it's very. Well, it was one of the Lupin the Third is one of the big inspirations on Sly Cooper, and I love that shit.
Oh, it's
so
like
cool.
Lupin the Third. See, that made me feel bad though, is because I went back and I remember that Hayao Miyazaki did Lupin the Third Part 1, and it was like it was like what started his whole career, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch it, and it sucks.
Oh really? I watched like half of it, and I thought it was pretty good.
I think in terms of storylines, in terms of like animation quality, it really does not, like, age has really taken a hit on it. I know I'm this meme of like, oh, if the game's more than 10 years old, it's fucking garbage. But like, actually, this, like, the very first episode of Lupin the Third is
The racetrack one,
is the
right?
racetrack. The villain just shows up. There's this whole organization we don't know fucking anything about. Fujiko's just there. He refers to her as his lover. Mm-hmm. And so does everyone else. So they're like dating in that one. Jigen is just there as well. Like, these characters just kind of show up. And like, I get it that was the time.
What's that kind of show?
It's like they wanted to do.
It was a Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking Speed Racer and shit like that. It's just now.
I like
as
that.
a modern anime watcher, I want stories that like they tie together. I want the animation to be really nice. I want the voice acting to be really good. It just doesn't like add up. It just doesn't work as much as it used to. Like, I appreciate the what they were doing, but now it's just kind of boring to watch.
I really liked what I watched, but I'm also like somebody who can enjoy something for like what it is and what it was type deal.
Well, like, I can watch an old movie and enjoy it, but like, old animation just doesn't really, like, especially it's the old animation style of being like, hey, we need to save money on the budget and we don't want to draw that much right now, or we can't physically draw this much, so they just show like a picture and pan a camera across. It's like, I get that's what you had to do to make this all work. I just don't like watching it.
They still do that in anime now.
I don't like it either when they do it then, because I'm like, come on, you can at least CG some bullshit. They do it a lot less in anime now, but like, it happened like 5 times in a row in that episode. Also, Zenigata just shows up and they're like, hey, look who's on your tail in the car behind you, and they turn around, it's just this fucking red-faced man, and it's like, oh, it's
so
Zenigata.
funny. I thought that was so funny, man.
Yeah.
That's such a good part of that ep. He's just there. It's so fun. It's good, man.
It's just kind of like,
That's fair. I mean,
time has taken its toll.
I watched all of the original
amazing.
Gundam last year and like thought it was good. Like, I don't know if you know. I'm like really okay with old anime.
Yeah. Holy shit.
What?
Okay, they made him taller, but back in the day, Zenigata used to only be 5'8".
Yeah.
Now he's 5'11". But yeah, I guess
he's a little guy.
Yeah. And I think a nice thing about Lupin is when I actually looked up his age, because I'm like, oh, I get Rebecca's like really young. Is this like a creepy marriage? And it's like Lupin is late 20s to early 30s, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, but that's not the way it is in the Castle Cagliostro.
Oh, but that is a child in that one.
Do you no, remember? Okay, in Castle Cagliostro, he remembers a time when he came to that area and he met a little girl, and then when he comes back there as an adult, or when he comes back there, he looks identical.
Oh,
but
yeah, but
she's
she
an
grew
adult.
up.
She's
Yeah.
like 18, 19 or whatever, and then like they kiss.
Yeah,
but he
no,
met
that
her
one's
when
not
she was
great.
like 10.
Yeah. That one is bad, but at least it's like a lot of the other times Lupin is like, he's consistently either like 28 or 32, and so is the rest of the cast, which is crazy because you think like Jigen is like looks like he should be so fucking old, but actually he's the same age. Oh, you know
That's
what? I
so
think we
weird.
didn't talk about it last. Did I talk about the blood spray of going on last week?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, God, that was the animation going forward past that's all gorgeous.
Yeah.
That one's the best though because it's so fucking gross. Like there's a part where he's fighting the guy and he like lets him take literally a strip of flesh where he cuts into like his arm and like from here down just is gone. And you can see like the bone and shit and the viscera and it's like that's
nasty.
so gross, but this was so cool. Yeah, and then we're gonna watch in the call, we're gonna watch Lupin the Third the First tonight.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I want to watch that. That looks
So,
good.
fucking Stevie's gonna miss out on it.
Oh,
And it's not my fault he was working Saturday.
it's fair.
Yeah.
I might hop in the call maybe.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen that movie and I want to.
Did I post a time here before? Yeah, I said 9 p.m.
Ooh, maybe it depends. I'm sleepy boy now. I've been waking up early more recently.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to with your fucking job.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping in every day.
Way to go, bud.
Yeah. Just trying to be healthy. You know, it's for me. It's not my gaming addiction or anything.
Yeah,
It's
man.
not the fact that I
Honestly,
keep
like,
playing fucking Apex Legends at like until like 3 at night every day.
Ian texts me this time, like, so I've started waiting for him to text me because like I always feel so awkward texting him for this stuff for recording time because like half of all Saturdays, which are the day we record these, Ian either has worked and I have to wait for him to come home from work, or alternately has stayed up till 6 a.m. drinking, and I don't.
Well, there was the one time when it
text
was
him.
9 a.m.
Yeah, but I don't want to text him at like noon.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm at work, or oh, I'm so fucking tired.
And yeah, when you would text me at like 1 o'clock, being like,
Yeah.
"Hey, so what time you want to do it?" I'm like, "Not till fucking like 3. I need to shower. I need to take some
Yeah.
Tylenol." Like, and then
I was
at
like
3 would hit, and I'd be like 4. Time would
Yeah,
keep
so
going
now I'm
forward.
like, yeah, it's 5 now, and I'm like, okay, whatever, right? I don't mind waiting, but
Yeah.
now I'm just like, I'll wait for him. But today he texts me just like a bunch of question marks because I didn't text him,
Because
and I'm like, I was waiting for you, bitch.
I was doing. I pretty much like woke up today, and just kind of like decided like I haven't gone outside in a few days. Well, I haven't gone outside to just be outside.
Yeah.
So I went in my backyard and I did a bunch of yard work. I like mowed the lawn. I put out the patio furniture and I hung up the like mosquito netting around our weird gazebo thing.
Yeah.
So I did that. That took me like an hour and a half. It was just a lot of work and shit. And then I got back inside. I'm like sitting here. I like started to nod off a bit. I'm like, maybe I need to take a nap. So I got in bed. I just looked at TikToks for like half an hour. But that's relaxing when you're like in a room lying in bed in the dark, just naked.
Yeah.
So and then I just go like, it's like 3 o'clock. This motherfucker hasn't texted me back. Actually, in between that, I went. Oh, you haven't texted me at all.
Yeah.
So in between though, that I like finished yard work. I come inside. I was added on Discord, and I hopped on, and then we got a fat W in Apex Legends. I've been like
man.
killing it in that game recently.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
It's a good game.
Yeah. All right, so that's. I don't really have anything to say about Nier Replicant, especially since you haven't played it yet.
It's cool. I like that game. It's
Yeah.
good.
I can't wait till like. There's a time skip in that one, right?
It's halfway through the game. Yeah.
I just don't want to look like the little boy in shorts anymore. Well, you know, do I have to play it? Do I play as Nier the whole time?
Yes.
I want to play as Kaine.
No, you don't get to play as
Yeah,
her.
bummer.
What you do want to do, Ian, is finish any side quests you can. Because
Give me like a vague hint of like where it is, of like where I should have side quests done by.
Okay. There's a part where you go to a manor.
Oh, the man.
Right?
Okay, I've walked up to it and there was a bunch of spiders in front. Are you talking about that place?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm
You
trying
go
to
through there on
remember.
the way to the desert, I think.
Yeah, so you go there for a mission, and then you go back to town, and then you go back there. The second time you go there triggers the time skip pretty much.
Okay, so I'm trying to have everything done. I don't like. It sucks that like a lot of these quests are just like, hey, can you keep running back and forth? And I'm like, can I just teleport?
Some of them are really good. The problem is that some of them are really good.
That one with the dog made me sad.
Yeah. There's some sad ones. Like they're really, or like the one with the sun was good.
Yeah. You know the fucking package one? It's when you're first going to that like the Airy.
Oh yeah.
It's when you first meet Kaine. There's like a guard in front of like the gate that you go through, and he's like, "Hey, can you take this parcel? It's very fragile. If you roll or take a hit, it breaks." And I'm like, "All right, bet." And I picked it up and then immediately rolled.
Yeah.
It's one of those quests where you can just go talk to the guy. And he's like, "You fucker," and then just gives you another one. But still, it was funny that I did it in front of him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Actually, I wonder if I could just get on the boar for the next parts. Like, because I killed the boar now, or beat him up, so now I can like ride the boar when I'm in the certain spaces.
Yeah.
If I could just hop on that boar and get all the way to the area with that.
Tokyo Drift, baby.
Oh, can you drift it?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Dog drifting and boar drifting. 2021's looking sick.
It's like the boar it's like the boars and mooses in Automata.
It feels like a little less polished. That's another thing about this game.
It's way faster than the fucking ones in Automata. It's so wild. It's like
where in Automata I was like, I'll just run. Like a lot of the time.
When you play the first Nier, it's so funny, dude. Like you just get on the board and it's like
now, I got a question. Did they tout Replicant as a remake?
So according to Yoko Taro, it is a version upgrade, but it's effectively a full remake.
It feels like the combat in the game. I obviously don't know what original Nier combat was like, but it doesn't feel as good as Automata's combat.
Yeah.
So I just think that it kind of feels. I know there's like additional content in like somewhere in the game because he said like, oh, it's 1.22 for a reason.
Yeah.
And but like the combat doesn't feel as tight as Automata.
Well, it was never going to be because this is a remake of a game with combat that's much worse than Automata's.
But a lot of the game, like think of fucking like Yakuza, when they remake the games, they just put in the better version of the current combat system.
But this is not a Yakuza remake. This is a 1-to-1 remake.
Yeah.
Except in this game, you can do air combo. You could not do air combo in the original Nier.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like they've done a lot with this combat to make it better.
2B have a launcher by holding X?
I
feel like she did.
No, I think it was back Y.
It was something. There was an actual input for the air launcher where this one to do the only way I found to do the air launcher is the thing I found out you could do with 2B and like by the time I had like beaten the game twice already. Yeah. Which was if you do like a short if you do a jump and as soon as you're like off the ground, if you hit like X or no, not square, you'll do like a little like upward move with your sword that can lift people up. And that's how it seems to work in Replicant.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
The first 10 hours or so of that game or whatever are kind of slow.
It's classic JRPG. Bro, I swear it picks up after 20 hours.
No, that's what they said in the fucking review, but I think it's good. Like, that's the point of the cold open, though.
Yeah, also the cold open shows you like what powers you're going to get as you play the game.
You play really fully powered, and it's fucking wild.
I thought it was weird that
the game just goes 1,000 years later. Yeah. Like, fuck you.
I think what's weird to me is that the last power it gives you in the prologue is the Dark Lance, and I was like, God, this power is so fucking cool. Am I gonna have to like one of the first ones end of the game? It's the first fucking power.
Yeah.
It's like you have the standard like hold R1, and then after you hold for a bit, it does like the pew, shoots out missiles everywhere. But then your L1 is Dark Lance immediately, and I've used it for every fight and haven't had like I changed it once, and I was like, not as good as Dark Lance.
The hand one is good.
Okay, but so far the bosses I've fought, I've had to use a lot of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, like honestly, there's ones that are better for groups of enemies, like the one where the spikes come out of the ground. That's really good when you're fighting like groups.
That one was cool in the thing as well. The personification of Weiss is also appreciated because it lets you.
I love him.
It like is a good bounce like way to bounce back and forth. Like Nier being like, we got to help these people, and him being like, oh, what do we gain though?
Yeah, I love Automata. It's probably my favorite game of all time. But I do like the characters a lot more in Nier. Like there's a lot more like variety to them. Like
Automata
again,
is like more about like, hey, look at the like.
Automata is more about the world, whereas like Nier is more about the characters.
But also like 2B is already like, she's not going to change who she is because her time she's been this character for like a long time prior to the game even starting.
Yeah,
like she's always like that. But 9S going like full on and like allowing his like personality, because usually he gets reset. His personality keeps going forward and everything.
Rageful and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then or A2 where she's just like her story's already done.
Yeah.
She just kind of picks up 2B's like
memories
part and then becomes like more 2B-ish.
Yeah. Whereas like Nier 1, obviously you get the story of Emil.
Yeah.
Which is great. You get like Kaide, who I love, was one of my favorite characters. Vice, you get Nier.
You get Yona. Just sits there and dies the whole time.
Yona's great. Devila and Popola.
Yeah. Now being like just actual characters instead of just showing up at the end of Automata.
Well, in Automata, they're still characters. It's just like, what?
And they also have like a very sad death.
Yep.
Because you can you enter a tower in Automata and then you come outside and their corpses.
Did you do the bar side quest?
I'm working on it.
Okay, because when you do, then you get to hear the version of the town song with both Devila and Popola.
Oh, I think the funniest thing, the one thing I've like fully just like, because I know that there's a lot of like Nier references in Automata.
Yeah.
Is that when the library in Automata, like at the end of the game, is the fucking same library.
Yeah, dude, like, it's funny because I was like, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, yo, maybe you should play Nier first, but like, it's fine. But because I'm like that moment when you get there in Automata, if you haven't played Nier, you're like, oh, all right.
I think
it's just a white room. When you played Nier, you're like, what the fuck?
I think that's what that is kind of like. It still hit me being like, oh shit, this location. It's just not like as a what the fuck. Is like, cool. They're like connecting the stories. Like they're not just like standalone games. It's kind of like my thing with like, you should play Yakuza 1 before Yakuza 0 because like seeing Majima in the future is a lot more interesting and then seeing how he like became the character is more interesting than just seeing like, here's this guy, here's who he is, and you don't really like see the end result until the next game.
Yeah. God, those games are so good. We'll definitely do a spoiler cast when we both finish the Replicant.
We'll do a real spoiler cast instead of just dropping hot spoilers like for Final Fantasy VII, because this game is only 10 years old and no one played it.
Yeah.
The only people who played it are like
me.
Yeah, JRPG. People who would like put up with Final Fantasy 13's nonsense and be like, "Wow, this game's so much cooler."
Yeah, like I didn't play it back in 2010. I played it right like in 2016. I bought it like right before Automata. This
is the last thing I want to say about Replicant. Did you see the dog shit takes from like people on review sites or on Twitter about review sites?
So like people who are like, fucking, this is why game reviewing is trash. Yeah, I think those people suck. But the ones where it's like Nier 1 getting like the remake getting such higher reviews is great because it shows that the industry has moved past like Japanese game bad.
Yeah, but like that was the old reviews. There was literally like things where it's like, these fucking Japanese people don't know how to tell stories or make good gameplay. And then like 10 years later, we were like, hey, we were actually wrong.
Yeah.
They're out there writing the best stories because game devs here keep making like movies that are just like the same story over and over again. That's an article I saw that I wanted to read but forgot to.
Yeah. It's like game developers have only seen the same 5 movies.
No, it's from the Gamer website. It says, I don't mind games trying to be movies, but why are they all the same movie?
Yeah.
Because it's always like, wow, my dad sucks. Hey, surrogate dad, or me realizing that my dad is a flawed human being.
Hey, Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
Yeah.
A good story, but not the only story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's partly because that us as video game players demand violence. And so then you need to pick from stories that have violence in them instead of the many stories that don't.
I think not us, like me and you. I don't think we demand violence.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, but I think I don't even think a lot of people are demanding violence. The Call of Duty crowd is demanding violence. That's about it. Like,
well, Ian, if you played it, you know, I don't mean to throw you under the bus. If I said a game didn't have combat, you wouldn't play it.
I think we have different descriptions of violence.
So I mean combat.
Like, what?
So when I say violence, I mean like combat.
Yeah, I don't think about it like that. I don't think Yakuza's straight up like actual combat doesn't feel violent to me.
Dude.
Until you get into like what actually happens in the story, and also when
and the
Kiryu
heat
stabs
moves.
people and the heat moves. But like, I mean, what they're trying to do with like the fight, Yakuza tells their story through the combat. It's like necessary, like it's literally like Kiryu saying, "You're not gonna budge, and I'm not gonna budge." So we literally have to physically try and force our ideals onto each other by pounding our fists into each other. But The Last of Us, to me, is just like, I'm gonna kill all these people in the way and then act like murder is bad.
Right, but like, so the thing is like, The Road's great because it's a story about, you know, people who do not want to do the bad things, but to survive they have to, and then they become somebody who has done the bad things.
Yeah.
And that's a good story. But
I wish Fallout did a thing where they had more like encounters where like you can actually come up on like a group of bandits and try and negotiate your way out of it. Like, even if fucking like just remove voice lines from the game for those sections and just have it be like you guys like a quick back and forth where if you have a high enough speech check, you can just be like, I'm just going this way, and if they're like not in your path, there's like a 50-50 chance with like a moderate speech level will be or charisma check, and they'll be like, yeah, fine, but if you have to go through them, then it's a bit harder.
Like, here's the thing. Like, Disco Elysium, there's no combat in that game. Like, everything is done through rolls, and, like, you don't really attack people. Like, you can at times, but it's not really about...
uninstalling Disco Elysium, there's no combat.
Fuck you, Ian.
I'm joking.
Yeah. But, like, that's a game about, like, self-destruction and politics and, right? Like, lots of stuff. And it's cool. And, you know, it did really well. So I think, like... if we let ourselves decide that we can tell stories with minimal to no like actual violence and like the loosest term, then we can tell stories and do weird shit. Like, you know, I was reading a thing about that's like that was complaining about Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 is nothing like a Western because there's too much. It's like a Western builds and builds in tension until eventually there is a shootout.
Yeah, where Red Dead Redemption is just shootout.
Yeah.
Shootout. Also, we put your guns back on your horse, so you have to go and get them in the midst of a random shootout.
Yeah, it's like...
that's the one thing, like...
cutscene, shootout, cutscene, shootout, cutscene, shootout, cutscene, shootout. And it's like, okay, but... like, I like the story that it tells, but...
did you ever watch Nakey Jakey's, like, Red Dead Redemption video?
Yeah.
Where, like, that's the... honestly, like... all of it, I was like, whatever, that's fine. That's video game bullshit that they're all doing. When it was like, you get ambushed, you hop off your horse, and all of a sudden your guns are on your horse and not on your back, despite the fact when you're not in danger, your guns will always appear on your back. I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this shit.
That's just an annoying feature of that game, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, is I'd be so annoyed that I couldn't enjoy myself. Yeah, so... I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, where I was like, I think a good Red Dead Redemption game would be more like a building up your town sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, like, yeah, am I really supposed to care about all these outlaws when statistically they never existed, or they would be black?
Well, they're actually pretty diverse.
I didn't even see the cast.
They have some. But anyway, like, yeah, I don't know. I think the story that Red Dead tells is pretty good, but it's not as good as people say it is. It's just long, and then that forces you to care more about the characters because you have 40 fucking hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see a Western or really any kind of game that, like, is about a small little area that you're free to explore and upgrade, that you defend.
Yeah. Like, instead of you being part of this, like, camp that you had to find, like that you contributed to in Red Dead Redemption 2 that actually didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You could have, like a settlement that you, like, this is the spot in the settlement. You guys don't want to, like, live off of the US, like, you don't want to be involved with, like, the US government, so you kind of just have to, like, fight back against the government and becoming this, like, renegade city state.
Yeah,
but instead it's cool. Like, no, you guys just fucking pack up and run around and you steal from everyone for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's tons of reasons,
like,
but you know,
well, you're an outlaw, man. You got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's over. This is episode 6.
It's done. Thank God.
Because it's the worst fucking show ever made. 0 to 10.
Yeah. Negative 0 out of 10. It's a number that doesn't exist. That's how bad it is.
Just kidding. It's actually a really good show. I liked it a lot.
I thought episode 5, despite the fact that it was like less actiony.
Yeah. That way you thought it was better than 6?
I was just thinking back, like, wait, was it? Yeah, it was. I think that the lead up, all the stuff they put into place in 5 was like they were teeing it up. Like, they literally had it, like, you just had to knock it out of the park, and then a lot of the stuff in 6 was just kind of boring.
See, I thought 6 was good, and it works as a good finale, but, like, it's not as good as some of the episodes that are more about the emotional aspect.
Yeah.
Like, love the Captain America suit. It's great. Seeing Sam Wilson as Captain America. Really?
I hate the white part.
No, I like it a lot.
The neck part and how his ears are exposed, I'm just like, I really would rather hit if he just had, like, the goggles like he always had in his former suits.
See, I like it, but it's very comics accurate. So
it is very comics accurate, but I was just did not like how it looks, and I think
he looks great in it. I like him with the shield, and I like the action scenes with him. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that they put it as, like, a whole, like, the neck part goes up into the head and everything. I think I just don't like that. I think if those were separate pieces, like,
but that's what Kid Flash's outfit looks like.
I don't even like Kid Flash's that much. But, like, this straight up, this forward shot from Captain America: Civil War 2, like this one here in the Discord, I think that looks great, and I understand that this is the same suit he's wearing in the show.
Yeah, it's completely.
But just whenever he turns his head and I see, like, it come up on the side, I'm like, never mind, get it out of there. Doesn't look as good anymore.
No, I personally like it, but we can disagree on that.
Yeah, it's a suit. It's gonna change like 30 fucking times.
Yeah, I like him as Cap. I like that he's just Captain America in between episodes. Like, it was clear what was in the box. We didn't have to have a scene where he suits up. I'm glad he just shows up, throws the fucking shield through the window, and he's like, "Bitch, I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
And then that was great.
Fights Batroc, and this is the part that I was like, around this point, I was like, well, he's fighting this guy for a bit too long. I get that Batroc is hard and he, like, hard to fight, and he even pushed, like, Steve Rogers when he, like, full super soldier. I just feel like Sam looked like he was running away a lot more. I just think the choreography was kind of weak.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen better fights in the show before.
Yeah, so. Or even his fight later on against Carly is, like, a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
It feels like they did that fight, and
yeah.
then they used a bunch of the budget on like making the suit do all its stuff and how the shield
and the
stuff would
CGI
work.
and like the helicopter sequences.
Yeah, and then the Batroc stuff, they were like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" And it's like, well, Sam probably isn't as good of a fighter. He needs to be more technical and use his like his suit and stuff. But we can't do the budget to extend the wings anymore. So he's just gonna like push him down once and be like, "Peace," and throws the shield out the window and just flies away.
Yeah, I think it's tough because like George St. Pierre has actually been in fights before.
Yeah, and
like he's a professional fighter, and then Anthony Mackie is an actor.
Yeah, but they have like people on set, and also he can give them tips. Like, it's not like they're actually fighting. He can like be like,
no.
"Hey, if you're throwing your punch a little too wide, you want to have it a bit shorter because if it was too wide, I would just be like, dodge."
Bam.
You know, they have to work together.
Yeah, that fight was a little weak. Skip through that. Like, you know, this episode's all like 40% action sequences, so that we're not going to have that much to say.
60% a black man talking down to a white senator.
I like that. That felt
I liked it too. I think but
I think people are like, "Oh, this sucks," and I'm like, he's literally being Captain America. That's what he's doing.
No,
that scene is like him as Captain America, where he's like, "Hey, eat shit, fucko."
Or there's a part where someone tries to like says like, "Oh shit, it's Captain America," and he just like takes off because he's not like John. He's not there for the grandstanding, being like, "Yeah, fucking Cap."
Well, he does the little like, I think he
he acknowledges
or whatever.
He does the fan work, but he's not sitting there the whole time being like, "Hey, shake hands, shake hands, shake hands."
Yeah.
Yep. So they evacuate the building. Everyone goes away, and then they go like, "No, don't evacuate the building because that's their fucking plan." Sharon melts a man's face later, but I just felt like saying it now.
Well, that's like that's when she does it, because like Winter Soldier or Bucky hops on a bike.
Oh yeah, they all make it down
essentially
there.
They put like a bunch of the senators on 2 trucks, and then some on a helicopter, and then that helicopter has a second helicopter with no senators following it.
Yeah, and then Sam goes and does like a long thing where he needs to try and stop the helicopter.
Sam takes down the one helicopter, and then he saves the other one by using Red Wing, scans for somebody who can pilot, and then he takes the bad pilots out and then lets the woman fly.
I don't know. Sam doesn't take it down. The other helicopter is an actual NYPD one, and in a really stupid move, the other guy takes it down by using the blades of their helicopter to like pierce the NYPD one. Sam doesn't touch that one.
Oh, okay. I was confused that there was 2, honestly,
Here's the
at that
thing.
point. Like, yeah.
They need to stop using those fucking blades as if they can stop anything. Do you know how easily those things break?
Yeah.
Helicopters literally make no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like, they are crazy. I'm fucking talking to Ben in my call, who is like a huge, like, he loves airplanes, like vehicles that go in the air. It's his shit. He loves them. And I asked him, and I just did something with a helicopter one time. He was like, "That's not possible. You can't do that." And then he explained to me about, or no, it was that this guy, I read this like green text about this dude. He was a helicopter, like training to be a helicopter pilot, and they like touched down and then immediately took back off. And he was like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "If I stayed on the ground, the thing would have rotated itself to death and we would have died." It's like sometimes helicopters will just land and break.
That's weird.
Yeah, you're very even there. Like you didn't
still
move.
I was like trying to pay attention. I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah. So just like helicopters, sometimes the movies get a little too liberal with what they think helicopters can do.
Yeah.
The most accurate thing in the episode is probably when Sam, in a really cool, like really quick sequence, busts through the window and like takes the guy out. And then it immediately like starts like careening out. Not because like, oh, the guy probably got whipped and like grabbed moved it. It's because if you're not holding the stick, helicopters will just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that sequence was really cool.
Yeah.
Then on the ground, you got a fight between Bucky and Carly. Where she does the thing. She does a very smart villain move by going, "Oh, threaten the life of someone else, so we can get we can get the fuck out of here." Smart villain move.
It's a very good move to do.
It's a good villain move, because she's like, "I'm not killing these people; they will be alive."
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
just
he
getting
goes
away.
He goes to save them. He breaks them out. And then John Walker shows up. And obviously the shield breaks like immediately.
Yeah, it gets super fucked up.
Yeah, so and then
Although in a different way. I thought it would like snap, but instead it just got dented.
he did reinforce it a lot. Like I thought it was just gonna be like one person punch right through it and just like knock him away, and then have like the hoops on their arm and just be like, psh. But yeah, so he gets in a fight. He gets kind of jobbed, and they're beating the shit out. Oh, actually, I wrote a note about this. Carly did not have to apologize to him. He killed her friend.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
it's an
they
eye for
are
an eye.
even right now. Like, it's not like she killed Lamar by accident, and then in his rage, he went and killed one of her friends on purpose. He is at fault. Like, there is no way she should have said anything to him. She should have. She was like, "You shouldn't have been there" or some shit. She didn't have to say he didn't have to die. I don't kill meaningless people. And then I saw a joke on TikTok where someone's like,
"His life doesn't
Carly,
matter.
Black lives don't matter to you."
Yeah. No, that's not what I was...
And then Sam's like, Carly, what the
that
fuck?
Is the thing. That was the thing I thought that immediately, because it's like she said his life doesn't matter or something like that.
His life is
like,
meaningless.
I only kill people whose lives matter. Is like the words that she uses, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then on the TikTok, it was like Bucky in the background like this, showing solidarity.
It's funny.
Yeah, so then he almost gets his body bashed in with that fucking pole. What is it?
Yeah, it's a parking meter.
Parking meter, thank you. And then Bucky shows up and saves him, doesn't want him to die because Bucky's a hero like that. They beat the shit out of some of them. Carly runs away. They somehow push a vehicle to it's almost gonna fall off the edge.
Yeah.
And
Bucky's on the ground, so then fucking John Walker has to decide whether he's gonna fight or save the vehicle,
This was the moment where I'm like, if they really wanted to make John Walker a proper villain, he would just go and chase.
They
after
don't.
them.
They want him to be an anti-hero.
Yeah, they want him to be a super patriot. He works for the U.S. government. See, that's the thing. Is the U.S. government would advocate more for less of saving people and more for getting the target. Because they clearly are oh, we'll bomb an entire city if it means we can get one terrorist.
Yeah. Well, how many school buses have drones destroyed?
Yeah, exactly. Because there was a child of a terrorist on there or some shit.
Or just they thought the driver was somebody else, because it's hard to tell what a thing is from a drone, it turns out. Especially if you're in Akron,
200 miles per hour.
If you're in Akron, Ohio, and you're piloting a drone in Afghanistan,
and you have to make a split-second decision, despite the fact that your internet connection is not split-second worthy. Yeah. So he decides to go and try and save it. He does not, but then Sam shows up and uses technology instead to lock it in place.
He does a big superhero thing.
Yeah.
And then they continue the fight. Then they get to the dumbest twist in the fucking world, because we all saw it coming and went, no, that's too dumb.
Yeah, that was really stupid.
Sharon Carter is the power broker. What? Then how does Zemo know of the power broker if Zemo's been in jail since she became the power broker, because both things happened immediately after Captain America Civil War?
Zemo didn't know that she was the power broker.
No, but Zemo knew of the power broker. That was why they got Zemo.
Yeah, but what if it's Mass Effect, the Shadow Broker sort of shit?
Oh, where it's a different person? And
yeah, so Sharon just took on the title of being the power broker. Or they called her the power broker, but it could be a Power Broker Inc. thing where she's just a representative.
Yeah.
I think it's not a very fleshed out thing, but right now it's the current mood is
currently
Sharon
with
is
the
power
information
broker.
Currently with the information we have, I think that's kind of a plot hole.
Yeah. But then also
dumb.
Back in the episode where they found the guy who actually made the new super soldier serum, how she put on her hood to go fight all those guys.
Yeah.
It was one, so that they didn't have to CG the woman who plays Sharon Carter's face onto the
stunt double.
Yeah. Two, it's to hide the fact that she hired these hitmen.
Yeah, but that's also just dumb because she let them kill her
Yeah,
guy.
why would she bring Zemo, who wants to kill like them all? It was a very dumb move on her part.
Ugh. It's just so dumb. It's just not a good twist. It's simultaneously obvious and doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I honestly thought at the end of the episode when she finally gets her pardon at the end. Well, at the end when she was like calling on the phone, I thought it was going to be Julia Louis-Dreyfus on the other end.
I think that might be who it is.
I don't know, because she calls, I think she calls someone back, like her agency, like the power broker people, because she's saying that now we can sell U.S. secrets and like top secret weaponry and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be Curtis Jackson.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a really dumb thing that they did. Don't know why.
Yeah, it feels dumb.
Oh yeah, Carly's dead.
Oh yeah, she kills Carly.
Yeah, because they get in like a gun. She like get in a standoff, and then Carly pulls out a gun, and she already had it. I guess because she wanted to recruit her back for the thing.
So Sharon Carter shot Batroc, and then Carly shot Sharon. So Batroc's dead.
Yes. And then who shot Carly?
Sharon. Later.
Who shot Batroc? Oh yeah, you're right. While she was down, she shot her.
Yeah, like, because she has the fight where he's like, I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to hit you.
Yeah. And then he doesn't hit her, but a bullet does. And
Sharon
it kills
goes,
her.
Bam, bam, bam. 3 bullets in the back, bitch.
And she's dead. He carries her corpse out, and it's like, ooh, look. And then the senators come over top of a dead woman's corpse and say, thanks for getting rid of that scum of the earth.
Thanks for fucking up that terrorist.
Yeah, and then Sam turns around and says, what's your fucking problem, asshole?
Hey, I think that scene's good. Like, it is a touch heavy-handed, but it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of scene that would be. Like, there's no way to do it that doesn't feel that way. But it would be weird to not have a scene where he's like, okay, let's do better, gang. We can be a better country.
Let's talk
and people.
for a real second about how this is your
fault.
fault.
Let's rap for a bit.
He pulls a chair out, sits down backwards on it. Yeah.
Now Carly was telling me that the way that you've been treating her has made her feel not good. And so what do you have to say about it? But yeah, man, that bit's good. He gets the nod from John Walker. He gets the nice one, Cap.
Yeah.
From Bucky. Then he flies away.
And he flies away to go get the fucking guy he threw out of the helicopter into the from the Hudson.
Yeah. Then there's the scene where the truck full of the remaining Flag Smashers that were caught by Bucky and Walker gets blown up by Zemo's butler. Yeah.
And then Zemo is wearing some cool fucking Vans in prison.
Yeah. It's interesting that they were going to take them to the raft. That's another mention of the raft. I feel like we're going to get a Thunderbolts is like almost certainly happening. 'Cause then we get to see the scene with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who is, again, great.
Yeah.
I love the bit where she's like, just as I couldn't have planned it better if I chose to. Or maybe I did. Or maybe I did. That was funny.
Also, the fucking like bit where it's like, what's taking him so long in there? And John Walker's wife it's the helmet. Because he's got to get his fucking giant ears into it.
That's true. And then he comes out in the as U.S. agent.
Yeah, she's like, it looks good on you, and he's like, it's the same suit but black. Yeah. So U.S. agent is now here.
Hell yeah.
Ready to go do Hydra's bidding by accident.
We don't know if it's Hydra because Hydra is like
dead.
Like done. Yeah, pretty done post Age of Ultron.
They're not Hydra anymore. Now they're Phoenix. Because they rise from the ashes.
Or it could just be like a different group entirely that they make up. Or it's Hydra's back. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's just going to be Hydra's back. I don't think they'll come up with anything new. And then we got the cookout. Oh, no, wait.
The cookout's great.
What happens first, Isaiah Bradley or the cookout?
Well, there's the scene where Isaiah watches on TV, but I think the cookout was before the second Isaiah scene.
Yeah, so
the cookout's
happens.
So fun.
Bucky is invited. He's hitting on fucking Sarah again while he
does the thing where he's holding the kids up. He's like legitimately smiling and laughing. Which means I bet like that was genuine to the point that I think that scene was fun to film. Like Sebastian Stan doesn't look like he's faking enjoying it, doing an acting. Like, it just seems like he's actually enjoying it. Well,
since you didn't actually have to hear them talk, I'm sure that was just one of those scenes where it's like, guys, just have a conversation. And then they were probably like already talking off screen before. And he's like, all right, keep going. And do you think that he actually, like, they had the kids like fake dangle and had like a green box that they pulled out, or did they build a half model of Bucky that was cemented into where he was standing and just had an arm that I bet you there was like a pole.
I bet you it was like a pole or something.
Yeah,
or maybe he's just that jacked.
I could see, because he is a pretty ripped man, and like what those kids max with all of them probably weigh about like 200 pounds. Like, I think he could probably hold them up, but he would definitely shake and not for that long.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Probably. I bet you they had a thing.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of, like, either CG box or fake fucking arm that, like, just stuck at, like, half.
Yeah, like a pole.
Double.
Is it where it's on a pole or something to the ground? Yeah.
Oh, it's fun to think about. And yeah, it's the cookout. Fun. Sam's taking pictures with everyone.
That sequence is just legit super fun.
Bucky's allowed because he's an ally of black people.
They actually hug.
Yeah, they're boys now. They aren't co-workers anymore. They are friends.
They are friends.
They have evolved past acquaintances via mutual friend. It is like, we're friends too.
Yeah. Super sweet. Yeah, and then we got the scenes with Isaiah and Eli Bradley, who we've given a lot more lines to Eli, which is great.
Where he could come back in a way.
Yeah,
he's a bit too young for what.
Young Avengers.
Oh yeah, if they decide to do that.
Yeah, well, they're going to. They have like all of the pieces. If
they bring back Wiccan
and Speed.
If you bring back Wiccan and Speed, then you can absolutely do it.
Yeah, and they've already got Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye show, so it's like it all comes together.
Maybe there'd be some nonsense with like a Loki thing.
Maybe, I don't know if they would do that, but really fun, that bit. And then the Isaiah Bradley stuff was really like legit good. Some good feelings in there. And then it ends on the Power Broker stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's her getting. She gets pardoned, and then she calls and says, "We can do all this bullshit now."
Yep. Oh yeah, Torres is there for like a moment watching it on TV, and he's like, "Hey, I'm in this show too."
Yeah.
So one of the big things that was very recently announced that like kind of didn't trend that much, is that there is going to be a Captain America 4, which is going to be written by two of the writers of this show. One of them the showrunner, and the other one, I think the guy who co-wrote the finale. I'm not 100%. I don't know if the director of all 6 episodes is going to direct the movie, but at the very least, it's going to have the writing team. So, that's going to be the follow-up. That's cool.
Bucky will be there in some capacity. Torres will come back.
Oh, right. The last thing that happens in this is the title changes to Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool, except for the fact that that's an extremely confusing title if that's what they call the movie, because the second Captain America movie was called Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I don't think they will, because what's the point? Well, because I think Bucky's just gonna be there.
Bucky's whole thing is he crosses off the things. He sees the old man.
He goes and talks to, what was it, Yorinobu?
Yeah.
No, Yori. I don't know if the last part is Nobu. I think I'm just taking that from Cyberpunk.
It's okay.
He goes and tells Yori, and he leaves and just like walks out while the dude cries because he's been hanging out with his son's murderer. Then he walks past the sushi place they used to hang out at on like a Wednesday, I assume, and he sees the hot waitress.
Yep. And
Or
then he
I
nods.
guess also bartender, because that's how those places really operate. And
Yep.
she like smiles at him, and he just kind of looks, and he keeps walking. He looks very sad. Oh, he gives a thank you gift to his
Therapist, which is the journal
Yeah.
with all the names crossed off.
yeah.
So presumably he had a lot more conversations that really sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all in all, I really like the show. It's good.
Yeah, I think if I had watched the episodes back to back, like 5 and 6, I probably would enjoy it more. But the week in between, and also all the stuff like that happened in 5, and just the fact that they were like setting up John Walker to be a little more vengeful, and then he just comes out and he's like, "Never mind, I'm fine with all this."
Yeah, I do feel like there are some elements, especially with that character, that I didn't love. Just because, like, okay, Carly and John, I think, suffer to make the other better in a lot of ways in terms of writing.
Yeah,
And the problem is that neither of them come out being, like, iconic and awesome characters, to me. Like, I like Carly, and I like her whole deal, and the Flag Smashers and stuff, but it's clear we've, like, especially by the end, like, they've lost a lot of, like, the sympathy and, like, the way to write that character, you know, in a weird way.
yeah.
Like, it's just like she decides to be evil, but not really,
I-
because
no,
she never
see,
does
no.
anything that bad.
Okay, see, this is where we got in an argument about it last time. I think that the moment they were like where they lost me on her being like, she still has good ideas, like it's a beautiful message and all that.
Yeah.
But then at the end, when she's still just like, hey, oh, at the end of that one section where they like steal from all the stock, the people, and they had all the guys beaten down, and they killed, like, then she just like blows up the building. I'm like, she didn't have to kill those people. That's just the writers being lazy and being like, now she's villainous because she
Yeah.
kills. And I'm like, that's lame.
Yeah, exactly. But also, if she killed all those senators, it wouldn't have been that bad. I'm just saying.
It would be, because then there would just be even more terrorism, and they would just go harder, because the U.S. government doesn't fucking see like 9/11 happened, and then the Iraq War happened.
Yeah. They never.
Or
learned
it kept
anything.
going, because the Gulf War technically is the same. But, like, you know, it's just the U.S. government doesn't respond well to terrorism. Like, they just turn around and go. They don't look at themselves and say, why are we the problem? They look at everyone else and say, oh no, we have to put down the problem. And Sam recognizes that, but Carly does not, and thinks that killing the senators would change everything. And it's like, no, they would just they're like, their understudy would show up and just be like, we have to speed through all this shit now.
So Sam's here saying that we need to reform the system, and Carly's saying we should burn the system down.
Yeah.
But Sam has the power to reform, whereas Carly can't burn the system down.
So Carly's
just kill a bunch of
position is based off of desperation,
Mm-hmm.
where Sam already worked his way up into the position of power and wasn't really using it. And now it is like, has been shown that he's like, there is problems in the world that maybe he should get involved with.
I'm just saying, dude, all caps are bastards.
You said caps, right?
I said caps.
Okay, just want to make sure, because that's funny. Yeah. Steve Rogers didn't understand that he was actually inherently racist by holding that position. John Walker didn't care
Yeah.
and had a black sidekick. And then
Sam Wilson's trying to change it from the inside, but he's going to spend years and years and realize that none of that work did anything, and he should have been activizing. Just like real cops.
just like the entirety of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's better to be a gay cop, but you still have, but there's like multiple times in that show where cops come up to like Holt and still make like a homophobic remark to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for comedy, and it's like, well, that's great. Clearly showing nothing changes in this fucking world.
I really do like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Which did you prefer in the end, in WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier, because you know me, I'm an action boy.
I think I liked WandaVision a bit more. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier stuck the landing a bit better, because I think WandaVision like has a lot of weirdness in that finale that like doesn't really work.
What if, Nathan?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
Young Avengers.
Yep.
But they have a handler, like a guy who shows up and gives them missions.
And it's White Vision?
No, it's Randall Park.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
I just want Randall Park back. Did you see the clip of him on Conan?
What, of which?
The Asian Jim one?
No, I didn't see
He,
it.
like, forgot that was the bit on, like, The Office, because you know that classic one, right?
Yeah.
Where they replace all the photos and make their friend, whatever, look like...
Because that's the only episode of The Office he's in.
Yeah. So people come up... He was like, yeah, people come up to me all the time and say, hey, Asian Jim, and I thought they were being racist. So I was like, fuck you, buddy.
That's funny.
Yeah, because also, now people are going to walk up to Randall Park and be like, hey, Jimmy Woo!
Jimmy Woo!
At least that's like a character he's played for like
Yeah.
a bit longer. I'm sure he's also for like sitcom fans. He gets like whatever his character name is on Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah. Man, WandaVision made me want to watch Fresh Off the Boat just because I like Randall Park so much.
Because fucking Randall Park is hilarious.
Yeah.
Louis Huang. But the problem is with those shows is like Constance Wu, every single clip I see from Fresh Off the Boat with her is hilarious. Every scene with Randall Park is hilarious, but a lot of it is with sitcoms is like it's more about the kids.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to enjoy.
Well, because
watching
it's
the kids.
based off like the childhood of the guy who wrote it or whatever.
Eddie Huang, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked this show. I'm glad to be with it. We've got like 6 weeks before the next Marvel show, so we can relax.
We're free.
I can finally catch up on Invincible. I haven't watched like the last few eps.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that show yet?
No.
You should. It's a cartoon.
I don't want to.
It's good.
I don't want to.
You would like it. You like Young Justice.
And?
This show's kind of like that.
Was Eddie Huang ever in his own show?
Mm-hmm.
He was not. That would have been funny if he like showed up in his own show about his book.
I would.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'd show up as like the teacher of the class or something.
I wouldn't write myself like a main character, but I would write myself.
Oh no, I wouldn't be like I wouldn't Mr. Feeney myself.
No, but I would play like a really funny recurring character.
Yeah. Oh, he was the narrator for the whole thing.
Oh,
I don't know why I looked up his fucking name like on the thing, and it's not. Oh, yeah, he's not in the cast, and I feel like narrator is a cast role.
That is. But okay, I guess that means
he fucking is. It just didn't tell me.
That's dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's cut this bad boy off because we're running out of time on the month before I pay extra for the podcast.
And also, we finished talking about what we need to talk about.
Yep. So, thank you so much for listening and / or watching this. Thank you so much for listening and / or watching this episode of the podcast. You can find us on any listening service that you use. I'm sure you've already gotten there, but if you're Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, rate us, review us if you can, subscribe if you can. I'd love that. Or you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/NAScomedy, where you get every episode of this show, which has recently switched to a full video version as it comes out. Same day as always, Monday. And I'd love for you to subscribe to that too and like the video or whatever. If you want to follow me, I am at the Media Hole on Twitter. I am at the Media Hole, or I'm at the Media Hole on TikTok. I'm at twitch.tv/the Media Hole, and www.whenyourballs.get stuck to your leg.tumblr.com. And finally, if you want to follow Ian, you can go ahead and follow him at StrugglesV on any social media platform of your choice. He did recently come under fire for purchasing, running a B&B while spying on all of his hot anime girls who stay there. It's really gross. You should probably be canceled for it.
No, I was doing all that, but then I was also talking about how Home Depot is well within their rights.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching / listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.